Streaming is started.
This is it right here. I don't care what anyone says. Look. Hurry up and look. Do you see it though?
No, move up.
It says, I don't care what anyone says.
I saw that.
I don't care what anyone says. Julia Roberts looks amazing.
He's so bizarre.
He's a really weird guy.
Can we do a sound check for Tony?
Whenever you're ready. He's good. You hear that?
Yeah.
I already got a bottle open. What do you think? Is this amateur hour?
The other bottle's dead, man.
Well, that's why we opened another one.
Good thing I made a stop at
Come on, Tony. This is like
Roger Wilco
Come on,
last
Tony.
week.
Roger that.
I did. When I was in Jersey, I stopped at Roger Wilco and I
Roger
bought
that.
cases of beer. I bought 6 bottles of wine. That's it.
I guess Steve. I'm about to call my boy.
Which boy?
My buddy Steve, who got me the 81s.
The what?
I think it's time to get something good, man.
You got you the what?
He got me the 81 Clos Flores. I think it's time to get a little something good.
Well, thumbs up.
A little something. Start recording now.
Jack's on in the back
Check.
tonight?
No, because that's as soon as Switchboard can start streaming our audio too, then we wouldn't have problems.
Yes, I mopped all the floors, Jack. And
Yes, I could smell it the minute I walked in.
mopped it, everything. You know what I use too? I use this. This awesome, totally awesome floor cleaner. Lavender, clean ceramic, and no wax floors. Totally awesome.
Nobody cares.
It's totally awesome, man.
With a capital A.
Is that the?
That's Stick Vitale, man.
That's right.
Come on, dude.
So I was thinking of one of the infomercials.
No. No. 2 minutes.
Obviously, Hitler's thinking. I don't know what the hell he's thinking.
That is so funny. It's amazing how that catches on everything.
Hard to believe that, what's his name, he just did, what the hell's his freaking name now, damn it. For Major League, he was
It's Harry Doyle.
no,
Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker.
That's Harry Doyle. That's his character. His name's Harry Doyle.
He was a Philadelphia Philly,
Who's that?
Bob Uecker,
Oh yeah.
who played for the Phillies. The catcher. No,
Yeah, he was a catcher.
was he a catcher?
He was a catcher.
Where's the product? Did you open the Ravenswood?
Yeah, man.
See what I had to do, Jack? I had to make
We got a minute.
I had
And
to
you're
make
dropping
all these
everything. What
holes.
the hell's the matter with you, Tony?
all the way across so I can run the FiOS line.
I see that.
So I had to take out little plugs.
Are we ready?
The FiOS line is only,
Tony?
It's really
We have a
You just sit
40
down.
seconds here.
Okay.
I know you're ready, but you're not.
See this? That's called preparation. Man.
Yeah, I know. You see me? I got about 14 pages worth of notes. I get through about 6 of them.
Dude.
There was a question that was asked when you were outside.
About me?
No, the greatest product ever on an infomercial. And I was like, it's the Ron Popeil set it and forget it rotisserie grill.
Or
And
it
then
could be the ShamWow, though.
No, but someone also said the slap shop, but I was like,
Slap
no,
shop.
but nah, there's no way.
It's a ShamWow.
But then someone else said the George Foreman grill. I said, no, the George Foreman grill is, it cuts the, I mean, any grill can cut the fat if you just tilt the pan.
Wait a minute, I can't get this in my ear here for some reason.
Because it's
You know, this one was personally molded
okay.
to fit my ear.
Tony, Bruno, pay attention. I don't know how to put it in your ear, so.
Well,
What don't you understand?
Is this on here? No, it's.
So what do? They lay it down for a wax in your ear?
no.
Next question.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
In the past 24 hours, we have learned facts and seen examples.
We
Have been advised to leave it alone, to drop it. I just happen to believe that the people who entrusted Tony might just like to know all the facts, even the ones that no human mind today can explain.
Who does that? Who has time?
The worst thing of all is I watch it. I can't not look. It's like a drug. You can't resist it. It's an addiction.
Yes, yes, yes.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the
Tony Bruno Show.
Hello there, children. Welcome. I'm back, and hopefully our technical issues have been resolved, because because we got super duper high speed internet now, right, Robin?
That is correct. Super de duper. Like
what's
we've
our upload and
quadrupled.
download? We got to do a speed test right now.
Well, no. So
I think Luigi's on speed to start to show.
So our download speed, which is actually for streaming purposes, is not as important. Our download speed more than doubled.
About
but
96.
Well, it went from like right around 100 to 250, so a little bit more than doubled while we have all the equipment on. But the upload speed, holy guacamole! It went from, we were hovering when we were working everything, we were hovering right around 20, 25, which is not all that great. We went to 450. Yeah. Woohoo!
Let's give our FiOS high-speed internet a roaring round of applause.
Yeah.
It's fiber optics.
I mean, it like 20-fold. Yeah.
Funny thing, only about 9 people understood what the hell she was just talking about.
I know. Well, we have one of them here tonight with us.
Well, good. So he can explain it to us.
He can explain it to us. But we have the great Rudy Ellis. It's Rudiger Ellis, not Rudy Rudiger.
No.
Rudiger sounds like, actually, Rudiger is German. The nickname, the American nickname for Rudiger would be Rudy, correct?
Right.
If you Americanize Rudiger in Germany.
I'm not sure. I think it's. Well, I tell you this, I don't do it with an I. I do it with a Y.
Right.
Okay, so how would you spell your first name?
Even though Rudiger is Rudiger, it's Rudy for sure.
As a nickname.
As a nickname, yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, because I don't think I've ever known Rudiger. Like in German, you would pronounce it Rudiger.
Right.
Correct.
But I don't know if
I'm looking at the Wikipedia thing, and I can't pronounce any of this stuff.
I think
it's
in German,
it's in bad German.
In German, I think the nickname would not be Rudy. That's more Americanized. It would be Ruth.
It comes from the German. It comes from Ruth, which means fame, and
Wow.
Ger, which
There
means
you go.
spear.
Dude.
Oh, that's
Wasn't
good.
he in the Guardian of the Galaxy movies?
So that's-
Root? No.
I've known several Roots.
Ger, too.
Root or Ruth would be the nickname for Rudiger.
Well, we're off to a really
I know it's
Cultural start, yeah.
Cultural.
Yeah.
Luigi, speaking of culture, Luigi's here tonight.
What the crowd?
And of course, Jack in the back, who's not in the back, even though I scrubbed the floors today, cleaned up the joint.
Yeah, you were like Cinderella in here, man.
I know, Robin and I, our house was a disaster. We had all kinds of boxes and tools and cement.
People
and
don't
bags of stucco.
understand when you live in a very small house with no backyard, no space. Anytime you do any kind of construction or anything, it's like a big game of Tetris because you have to move something here, to move something there, to move something out of the way here, and that's what we've been doing since we moved in. And we try to get it back all looking nice every now and then. But whenever we have to work again, it all goes to hell.
I did break my fireplace glass screen, though, today. I picked it
so-
up sideways. Instead of picking it up vertically, I picked it up horizontally, and then the whole thing collapsed under its own weight and shattered into 10 billion pieces, just as Luigi was walking in.
I was like, hey, what's going on? You're like, I'll tell you what's going on. My fireplace is smashed.
It's an outrage.
But can we still work it? Can we still turn on and get the
it'll work.
flames?
Yeah, but it doesn't look right.
Why? Let's check it out.
Turn it on.
Let's see.
Although it's warmed up, it's finally spring here in the Delaware Valley and the Philadelphia area for people watching.
yeah.
The weather's actually getting nice everywhere, although it did snow in Minnesota and Iowa last week in the heartland of America.
Oh, that's horrible, man.
It's all right.
No, it looks bad, Bo.
I know it does.
Yeah,
Shut
it
it off.
doesn't- it doesn't look
Shut
right.
it down.
We're done.
Just like the Flyers shut it down, you shut down the fireplace
That's
right
right,
down.
man.
Oh, there are people that are asking about your eye, Tony.
Can people see the eye now?
Yes.
The eyes have it.
Told you, man. Should have been bobbing when you was weaving instead, Tom.
Yeah, people thought I got into a fight with a PPA person
That
last week.
would have been the low
That's
hanging
what people
fruit.
thought. But I went to I actually went to the eye doctor that I was supposed to go to the day that my car was towed and booted when I had to cancel the appointment at Will's Eye Hospital, the very first eye hospital in America and one of the great eye hospitals. Will's Eye Hospital is the first eye hospital in America. Well, Philadelphia, a lot of first. University of Pennsylvania Hospital was the very first hospital in America.
Yep.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did. It's also the University of Pennsylvania is the first nurse ever in America.
Her name was Miss Pennsylvania?
No.
Did she
But
win a
no.
contest?
It's where the first. It's where the first nurse ever was basically worked.
Well, because it's the first hospital.
Yeah.
Well, in the United States.
In the United States, yes.
They had hospitals elsewhere. In,
I know,
in
Robin. The
Europe.
country's
Okay.
only 250 years old.
But
Relax.
so it wasn't the first nurse in the world. It was the first nurse
In the United States.
That's what I said. In America.
Okay.
America. North America. if you're scoring at home. And if you are, congratulations. But anyway, so the appointment was 2 Fridays ago.
Right.
Then I got the car towed, couldn't go. We had to change it. So it was last Monday. And so what happens, we go to Wills Eye Hospital, and the doctor says, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a biopsy from your eye.
Yeah, well, actually, I was the one that insisted on it because
I had this little, like, looked like a
little
pimple.
lump. Yeah, it was a little
like
lump.
a little lump under my eyelid. You know, and I go to a dermatologist because I'm bald and I'm in the sun a lot, but I'm not one of these guys who lays on the beach, you know, sun worshiper. I get incidental sun.
Right.
Although I tan, I'm not one of these people. I always wear sunscreen. But I'm not one of these people who's lily white like Robin or Jack.
Or me.
You know, Irish. But you're Italian. You shouldn't be white.
Jack and I
But
glow
I am
in the
though.
dark.
I'm very pale, man. I am transparent. I really am. But once I get sun kissed, basically, I'll get red and then I'll be tan the rest of the way through, though.
Yeah, again, and I'm not a sun worshiper. Like, even when I go on to a beautiful tropical location or we go to the Virgin Islands, I'm not one who just gets a beach chair and lays out. I'll snorkel, but I'll put on my UV shirt so I don't get burned. But anyway, so you get your skin checked. You're looking for melanomas because it's a problem, and a lot of people don't even realize it. So my regular dermatologist said, everything's cool, no derm. But then he said, I don't know about this thing under your eye. You should go to an eye specialist. So I go to Dr. Rabinowitz at Wills Eye Hospital.
God bless you.
Thank you. And then he did an autopsy, and then I got
biopsy.
a biopsy, not an autopsy.
Not an autopsy.
The autopsy will come on my next surgery
program. That's
in
what
June.
Right.
That's when the autopsy occurs. And so he did it, and then finally I get the results.
If I'm walking in with a white
And
coat,
it's cancer. I got cancer.
Yeah.
It's not
The big casino. It's not the big casino.
not the big one. I've got a basal cell
Carcinoma.
who I believe played for the Winnipeg Jets back in the day with Bobby Hull in the WHA days.
I was going to say he's rising up draft boards, which are happening.
I think the Flyers are going to use him in gold next year to try to get off the schneid.
So anyway, the
Basal cell carcinoma is technically cancer, but it's the slow-moving type. It's not melanoma.
But it's still dangerous. Like, if
oh
you
yeah,
don't get
absolutely.
It,
if you don't get it taken care of.
So now you have an appointment where the
I have 2 appointments on the same day.
The oncologist is going to be the one that's going to excise the tumor.
So the tumor.
The tumor.
They're going
Not
to
a tumor.
So now that all of a sudden
tumor.
It is a tumor. That's the problem.
This is a week and a half ago, and I still have a black eye.
I know.
And it was a quick, simple procedure.
It was a tiny, but man, your eye.
My eye swelled up, and then I had this, and I still have black and blue, so people think I was in a fight. And now, by the time this heals, I'll be going right back into the doctor's office on June 4th.
Yep.
To have the surgery, to have the melanoma removed,
Well,
or the
so the
carcinoma.
oncologist is removing the tumor, and then the eye doctor, who also is a plastic surgeon, will be doing the plastic surgery to reconstruct because
So
they
he's
have
going to
to
remove something from the rest of
Get
my
a lot
body.
more work done, too, man.
Get what?
Get yourself all done up, man.
I'm gonna get, this
Smoothed
isn't
out.
about getting done up.
Just saying.
It's about having the bottom of
He's
my
gonna
eyelid.
be there.
cut
He's
out.
already got his hands dirty. Might as well finish up.
You think this is all free? This isn't cosmetic.
I mean, but listen, you're
Get
gonna
a
go.
little tuck action going
Yeah,
on.
a little
nip tuck.
nip tuck.
Take care of it, man. Pull a little back.
While
you know?
you're in there,
Get some hair plug transplants while plugs in there.
Get some calf work done. You know.
Get butt implants. My butt's pretty good for it because I'm an Italian guy. I got that
You're
Latin
not
blood
looking
in me.
for Ferrigno at the end of the day. Man. You'd be perfect. You'd be
Get
perfect.
pec implants.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
I'll get the. I'll have them liposuction some of the belly fat.
Yes.
you know what though? In all
The works.
honesty-
Can I go in for the works? Like when you go get a car wash.
When you pull up the menu, let me just give me the works. You know what I'm saying?
You get the basic wash. Where
Right.
they don't do anything. They don't even dry the stinking car.
Make sure you get the tires too, Chief. All right.
No, that's like an extra $4. They slap some. What do you call it on there? What's the shiny stuff?
The Armor All.
Armor All
Yeah.
on your tires. That's another $5. In LA's got the greatest car washes on earth.
What do they do?
Yes, they do.
I mean, they absolutely they have air. So they do a clothless air. You know, you go through the tunnel and it's brushless.
Yeah, brushless.
So it doesn't mess up your car.
Well, that's good.
So the guys wet it down and they spray the tires. You know, and they do the pressure wash of your rims and stuff. People get their car washed all the time in LA. And I got my car washed, and it was like $10 when I was there.
and you don't have to worry about it raining the next day.
That's the best part. So for $10, they wash your car, and then when it comes out, they have air hoses like the kind for your tires.
And that's what dries
Except
off?
they blow it out of your out of your side view
So
mirrors,
no streaks.
out of your door handles. 'Cause you know when you drive away from a car wash, all it starts dripping down from your license plate and your side view mirrors.
Because the worst part is like when you get to the end, like in the Northeast, when you get to the end of the car wash, you got guys that are wiping your car down, right? But you want to
But
tip
it's two guys that don't really care.
But no, the problem is that you want to tip the guy a buck or two or whatever.
You open the door, right?
And you got to open the door of the window, and then your own car's ruined again.
I never. I just
You know what he
opened the
said?
door.
He's like, "Thank you," and I'm like, "Well, you bastard!" I'm like. They want to hang you. They're like, here's a coupon. I'm like, I don't want the coupon, but I don't want to be an asshole and not tip the guy. But I got to open the door to do so, and I got streaks in my windows.
So for $10, so not now. So the car comes through. You're not sitting in the car like you are here.
No.
It goes through, through the automatic
Automated.
thing. So then all of a sudden it comes out, and 4 guys jump in your car, and they start spraying the windows on the inside.
do
and
the inside.
Inside windows?
Yes.
Inside
No
back
one does
window,
windows.
front
No one
window.
does windows.
I'm telling you, LA car washes
They
are
do
the greatest car washes on.
They vacuum.
They vacuum
What
your
year
car.
is this?
It's crazy.
And then they blow the air out. So when they're drying it, and there's like 4 guys drying your car, not one guy who's just like does
many
a
guys-
half-ass job.
You know what you feel like? You feel like you're in the 1950s at a gas station.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
When
You're
they used to
like,
check, remember they used to say,
wow.
"Can I check your oil?" When was the last time somebody asked you at a gas station, "You want me to check your oil?"
I ask girls in bars all the time.
Well, I do too, but that's a different guy. That's different.
Saying, looks like you're a court low, sweetheart.
Yes, exactly. Can you pull my dipstick and see how low I am, honey?
Exactly. But I don't check trains.
Real low, Tony. Real
I don't do trannies, though. I don't do transmissions.
Yeah, when was the last time somebody checked your tranny?
Exactly.
They don't do that anymore. Anyway, we're off to a train wreck of a start, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. So that's the latest on my eye. And you know what? I was thinking if I get an eye patch, I can do the whole.
I know you could do that.
I'd be a pirate.
Well, you were
could be
talking
a
about
pirate.
how you wanted to move to a warm water area and get the little the.
God, see how my hair is growing out?
Yeah.
I'm letting it grow. I'm growing the beard back, and I'm getting the hair, and it's going to grow long. And you'll know about this, Rudy. You'll dig this look, man. It's like a Northern California thing or a beach bum look. Older dudes with gray hair, and they let it grow out, but they're bald on top. But then they pull it back and get the gray, long ponytail. Yeah.
Man,
Otherwise known as a rat tail.
It's the tongue po,
No.
man. That's what it looks like. Looks
No.
like a kickboxer. Looks like tongue po.
I'm
Tongue
telling you,
po?
Tony,
Yeah,
right
I had
now.
some of that the other night.
It's good, Tony. With
It
the little
will-
duck sauce on the side. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It will never happen. If you ever even get this is
the longest my hair has been
and to me it's too long.
in
It's
years.
Yes.
Because I usually just shave it. I don't even let it get fuzzy.
No, you
This
usually
is
look-
like
In the middle of the
weak
night, it's
growth.
going to disappear.
No, it's
See,
not.
that's the thing, man. It's like you're usually like clean cut. Now you come down here in South Philly, you're like a hipster now, man.
You're like
you
a
don't even
total
care anymore.
schluff in
This
it.
is just like
that in the
No,
wintertime.
look at what he's wearing. He's wearing dark socks and shorts, which is a total violation.
I took off my dirty, filthy clothes from cleaning the house.
Really a hipster, man.
Luigi came over with shorts on.
Yeah, shorts
I
and
got my
t-shirt.
Rudy
beach clothes.
showed up, and you came down the stairs. I'm like, oh my God, what are you wearing?
I came from a workout. Where did you come from?
I came out from cleaning the whole house.
But you
and
were
goddamn-
upstairs in your own house. I don't have clothes
The
here.
only thing that could be worse is if you were wearing sandals with those socks.
I got slippers. I got moccasins.
Oh,
and socks
my
on.
God.
Bad. Bad.
And I got camel shorts. In St. John in the
The
BVI.
t-shirt is
well, actually,
fine.
U.S. Virgin Islands. Have you been to the beach club in the
Have not.
United States Virgin Islands?
Never been there.
Now, we've been talking to Rudy, but we haven't identified him.
Yes.
He's not just a guy who came down and grabbed a Yingling tonight and some lasagna. And by the way, how was Miss Robbins' lasagna, Rudy?
Delicious. Thank you very much.
Homemade.
Homemade, scratch.
2 days later, right?
Yeah.
No, one day. It was
One
last
day?
night. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure it was last night?
Yeah, it was. Oh no,
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 it was
2
2 nights ago.
nights ago because last night we were.
Last
at
night we
Uncle
had
Fantasy.
pizza. We went to
there you go.
Luigi's podcast and we had Snap Pizza and we had leftovers. So we had leftover Snap custom pizza from our boy Joel. And it's still pizza the next day is still good.
Yeah, it's still
too.
good.
Anything
And you
next
warm it up a little bit too.
Yeah, you put
Don't
it in the
put
oven.
it in a microwave.
No,
though.
oven. You got to go oven.
Microwave makes it soggy.
Because the oven reconstitutes everything, man. It makes it
Exactly,
perfect. It's what
exactly
the oven
right.
shrinks the molecules,
So
man.
well, we Italians, we're having red wine, pizza, and lasagna,
It's like Monday.
And salad.
and salad, some salad, some
yeah.
healthy salad.
People are asking what we're drinking
We're
tonight.
pouring some Ravenswood
Yep.
Old Vine Zin.
That's a quality, cheaper bottle.
It is.
If
It's
you
a
want to
like
go under
$15
if
bottle
you
of
want to
Zin.
go under 20, that's a good bottle to get.
But get the Old Vine Zin, though.
Yep.
Because when you look at red Zinfandels, which Robin and I and Luigi are fond of, you get the Old Vine, which means the grapes are older. Then there's Ancient Vine. Ancient Vine are like 100-year-old grapes.
So you don't really find the ancient vine bottles.
No,
too
and
often.
there are still vines, Zinfandel vines, that are over 100 years old that were brought here from Italy that are still producing grapes. Now, they don't produce as many grapes, but the grapes they do are amazing.
Yep.
So you'll notice that the ancient vine Zinfandels are really expensive. They're $25, but then you get an old vine or just a regular Zinfandel, $12 to $15. But the Ravenswood's really good. Up there, and this is a 2014 from, where's the winery? I haven't been to Ravenswood.
I think it's in Lodi, isn't it?
Isn't that
It's
a
a
strip
Campo,
club in
California.
Isn't that a strip club in Cherry
It's
Hill?
close to Lodi.
No, that Lodi is the Creedence Clearwater Revival, one of their big hits. Remember
But-
that song?
Back to Rudy.
Yes.
So you see our fabulous sponsors listed every single week,
Mm-hmm.
and Switchboard Live is one of our amazing sponsors.
And we give them love every week because of all the problems we've had on this podcast.
That's the one problem
That's
we don't
the
have.
one. That's the
Switchboard.
one area. Our video has been phenomenal. Our audio has sucked.
And the internet, sometimes, like every now and then, you see the video going
Mm-hmm.
in and out, and that was not because of Switchboard. It was because of the internet service. Switchboard has been on par from day one.
You mean on point?
On point.
On
par.
fleek.
On
Can you
fleek.
still be on fleek? Are you guys on fleek at Switchboard Live?
Yeah, we're definitely on fleek.
Now, we have explained what Switchboard does to us, because what we use it for is because we've been struggling with internet speed,
Sure.
which a lot of people do,
Mm-hmm.
when we wanted to be able to bring the video to more than one place, forget about it.
Right.
So what Switchboard does is we can send you the one,
Feed of the 3
Feed.
cameras that we use.
and then Switchboard disseminates it to multiple places. Now,
Correct.
we, for our
Are
purposes...
you explaining it, or the man who's the
Well,
founder
I
and
just wanna-
CEO of the company?
Well, we've been talking about it for a lot of time. So I just wanted to reiterate what we use it for. We use it for Facebook Live, Periscope Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. But there are
Twitch?
yes.
I knew you guys had a
we're,
Twitch,
we're
yeah.
we're going
I'm
on
twitching
Twitch.
a little bit now. It's
I
because
like
my
it.
eye.
That's cool.
I gotta put this
you know, these
ointment on every
gamers,
night.
they
Yeah.
love Tony because of Madden. So yeah,
I
you know,
like
got the
that.
tie in
I
it.
forgot about that.
So please explain to us, like, first
And he's
of all,
a Philly
you,
area guy. Now, he's not from Philly originally. Well, you did. You grew up here, right?
up here, yeah.
And then you moved out to Redwood City, California, right? You work with EA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're a tech. Would you call yourself a geek or a tech guru?
I like the latter. Tech guru.
Guru, yes. Guru always sounds good.
But geek is no longer a
not a
negative
bad term.
connotation.
No, not at all.
There's a geek
Nerds.
squad at Best Buy. I mean, like proud people who are geeks are proud of it because it means they know a hell of a lot more than people who don't know how to program. People are still just learning how to program a VCR.
Sure.
And they're in their 60s, and VCRs haven't been used for, what, 10 years now? How long has it been?
I still can't program a VCR, man.
Mine always flashed 12, no matter when I had it.
Yes.
It still always flashed 12 o'clock. I never bothered setting the
Yeah,
VCR.
and plus, hey, geeks are look at the Forbes list, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
Definitely
There's-
I'm sick of this whole smacking you with my wallet thing. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I wish I paid attention in school. I really did, man.
You didn't have to pay attention
Geeks
in school to be
are-
I was worried about
and-
playing sports. And what happened? I got played at the end because I should have been more worried about the academic part of it. That's what it
Exactly
was.
right, man. So explain, because you grew. I went to George Washington High School right here in Philly,
I did, yeah.
Oh, my
and then you went to Howard University down
Out
in D.C.
and then from there, I went out to California.
So did you know you were like technically adept when you were growing up? I mean, obviously the world has changed in the last 10 years.
I think so. I
It's
got
exploded.
my first computer when I was 10 years old. I remember this. It was the old Adam ColecoVision system.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Love that, man.
Yeah, it was the part where you hooked up to the television, and it was part computer, part thing. And I remember my dad got that for me, and I was like, "What is this?" And that was amazing, right? So at that point, I think internally, yeah, I knew that I wanted to be affiliated with this for the rest of my life. So
But back then, because I remember the first computer I got my kids in the mid '80s was a compact Presario all-in-one. You know, and then you had
and
the
like
dial-up.
Wasn't that one of those ones where it like folded down the keyboard?
No, this was all like one big terminal, but all the guts were inside. There wasn't a separate hard drive. It was all built in.
Yeah.
And you turn it on, and it was like, oh yeah, that's it. That's actually
that's the Prodigy sound.
that
right?
was it. And when you got internet and you had Prodigy or AOL,
Or
which
Comp-
you saw that
AOL.
connection, you were like,
Oh.
and you were like, dude. And then I remember my kids would do their
you
homework.
clicked it connection, and then you'd go like make yourself a sandwich or
all
something.
this
Or like
stuff
my
on the
kids,
screen would come
we don't
filtering
have
in.
to go to the library anymore to make photocopies of pictures. So they would like download a picture, and it would take forever for the screen to start building
Yes.
up.
Yep.
You know,
It was a
it's-
slow build.
Yeah, it was a slow build. So. And here we are 25 years later, and now everything. Now we're still mad when it's not lightning fast,
Instantaneous.
right? Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
It's got to be instant.
instant. Yep.
So from the video, so it was about the games intrigued you at first, or was
Yeah,
it
I definitely was a gamer, right? So the Nintendo 64, trying to think, I think Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
So you're a gamer.
Yeah.
So are you a Super Mario Brothers fan?
I was. I don't play now though. I don't have time.
As you know, my name is Luigi. My little brother's name is Mario.
No way.
He married a woman named Daisy.
That had to be set up.
No.
It was
before.
I came out in 81. My brother came out in 83. The game came out in 84.
What?
You should have sued. You should have sued.
Nintendo won't even talk to me. I'm like, you're talking about two Italian brothers, literally named Mario and Luigi, who came out before your game.
And your brother married a Daisy.
Yep.
Married Daisy.
Coincidence?
And she's Spanish. Her last name is Espanol, for Christ's sake, so you can't get any more Spanish.
Wow. I believe you got a massive lawsuit here.
Charles Barkley was behind it, but
I
Nintendo
know.
never got. I'm telling, look, why are you not? Literally, we are two Italian people, and we do know. I mean, I know a little bit of plumbing now because Tony taught me.
Yeah.
We did the plumbing down there. Completely.
That's a
It
very
just happened to be
small-
my father's father was named Luigi. My mother's father was named Mario.
That's a pretty cool story.
That's how it works out, man.
You don't get those stories anywhere else.
Heck
man.
no.
And I don't get a dime.
Even
for
at
it.
EA. Now, so then you went to work. So you moved out to California. Did you work for EA Sports first?
Yeah, I had so it was like my dream job. So I think this was my sophomore year in high school, sophomore year in college. And I worked in a computer lab. And there was an email to like the computer lab operators, come out to California, play games for this summer.
Exactly.
But all you had to do was
Who
just
wouldn't
send
want
like
that?
an email of like, things you would change or updates and stuff. I wrote like this 3-page thing. It was features and all that. And it just so happened that I actually worked. Now that I say this story, I probably was a geek. Now that I say this, I worked at a computer. I worked at a computer bookstore, and they actually sent me out to California at the Moscone Center. They were doing whatever that big conference was. I think it was like
CES, the control. No, that's in Vegas.
That's
the
in
CES.
Vegas. It was
Yeah.
like Internet World, I believe. Anyway, they were the official bookstore, and so I was working at the convention center, and then I got a tour of EA, and then at that point I was able to like lock in that interview essentially.
That's
so I had
awesome.
something that was my internship, and it was like the best summer ever,
Oh, I
playing
bet.
games all day, And they actually offered me a job at the end of the summer, but I decided not to. I went back to school, and
Smart. That was smart. That was
but the whole next year, that was on my mind. It's like, did I just pass up my dream job? Was this my opportunity? Did I lose out on that? And so, actually, the next summer, they called me right before the semester was about to end. Said, "Hey, we want you to come out early, and we want you to lead a team." And this is the first year that college football was coming out on PlayStation, and so I looked to my dad and my parents, and I'm like, "Hey, this is your opportunity. If you want to do it, you got to go." And so I did. So I packed up my little Neon, and we drove cross country.
A Dodge Neon?
Dodge Neon.
Oh, man.
Beep, beep.
We drive cross country.
Look at Luigi shaking his head, man. What was your first car, man?
I told you my first car was.
What was
It was
it?
an '85 Plymouth Voyager Woody, bro.
See, and you're ripping a Dodge Neon?
I'm just shaking his head because I'm jealous because he had a Dodge Neon. I had a van that had fake stickers on it. Come on, man.
And we made the stop at the Grand Canyon, right?
Nice.
Let's check that out. And then, and so I stayed out there. So I was out there for probably a year. Yeah, about a year.
Now, was this before I was in the Madden games, 05, 06, and 07?
Yeah, so this had to be...
So you had nothing to do with my success at Madden? Then?
Nothing at all, unfortunately. So this is...
Always comes back to me.
Well, he worked at EA Sports. EA Sports contacted me. I didn't go out pimping the job.
I know.
They called me, the great people at Redwood City, California. You have the game. What do they say? Live
from beautiful Redwood Studios in
Redwood City, California.
This was in San Mateo. This is before they even moved into that facility. So this was Fashion Island Boulevard, right near Foster City.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there, and then I went to another company called IDOS. You remember that game, Tomb Raider, or the movie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So that company was called IDOS back then, and I worked on games for them. So I truly wasn't just in gaming.
So you designed games. You weren't just playing games.
So we designed features, right?
Okay.
So we designed features, and then I left, and that's what brought me to Florida. Is they moved the production team to Florida, and that was done in Central Florida area. And so
Because it's cheaper.
well, yeah. Well, they had development in one area, and then they had production in another area, and so people were flying back and forth. And you're right, its cost was there. No state taxes in Florida, so
Exactly.
it probably made a lot of sense.
Plus, you're in Central Florida, so you're near Disney, Universal
Well,
Studios.
1999, 2000 is when the Bay Area,
Yeah.
the housing was just going.
Yeah, everything crashed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, but it
Well,
was
that was the
high.
.com crash, though.
.com.
Yeah,
That
that
was the
but not the
.com.
housing crash.
No,
because
not the housing was 08. I know. I lost my house in Venice was part of the housing crash.
2008, but not 19.
I bought my house in 2005.
Max
But
Power.
we're talking 1999,
1999.
1999.
I'm sorry. Max Power checks in. He goes, "My doll. You made a game about an angry chick? Nice." Oh, come on.
Not my doll. That was the name of the company.
I know.
So you're down in Florida. You're working for another company. What prompted you to just go on your own and create what at the time was known as Joycast?
Correct. Yeah. So, trying to think. So I a couple companies down there: New Line, XOS Technologies, Jump TV, different incarnations. But I was always on their live streaming services side. So we were responsible for broadcast for like D1 schools and conferences, home and women's basketball games, soccer games, non-televised sports, basically Olympic sports. And there was I'm trying to think. There was a client of ours that said, "Hey, is there a way where I could send a video to our conference website as well as our athletic website?" And I didn't know, like there wasn't a way to do that. And so so I decided to figure that out for him. So that was like the problem, right? I'm sure there had to be a way. And so I pitched him on this kind of rudimentary system, and he was like, "Yeah, I think this will work for us." And so for a whole year, I did that, right? I did this kind of like a moonlighting thing, just kind of help those guys out. And then a year later, I was having a conversation with some folks, and that same topic came up. Like, we would love to be able to stream to our main website as well as this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is something I did a year ago. I wonder if there's a market for this. And at that point, that's kind of when it clicked. And that weekend, I remember writing notes and just pages and pages, paper stream, like all these different type names. And the date was August 23rd, 2013. Like I wrote the date down for this idea, and it just so happens at my company they were downshifting my division, and so I could have stayed and been an IT guy, something I wasn't really passionate about, or I could have left, and so I did. So I, father with kids and so forth, and said, I can do better on my own, and so I did. So I took that entrepreneurship jump, and here we are.
And now, how we came across Joycaster was the Tony Bruno show when Tony was doing terrestrial radio.
Okay.
And he knew that terrestrial radio was changing in a direction that he did not care for. He didn't like all the different restrictions that terrestrial radio had. They were kind of taking the fun out of radio for him because that's kind of what he was
Plus, I had
for.
done it for 45 years. So
And,
that helps too.
And it became more about advertising, and not that advertising isn't great because it's necessary and fantastic. But Tony talks about how back in when radio was at its heyday, advertising used to go from the product, which is the on-air personalities, and they would get ideas on sales based upon what they were listening to, and then they would go sell. Now it's totally different. They find clients and try to make it fit into...
No, they'll sell a client
Right.
and then say, okay, now come up with an idea around this client, as opposed to come up with a generic, because most of the things that become big things, like Wing Bowl here in Philadelphia, was an organic thing that happened during a sports talk show. We were eating hot dogs, and it became people calling in, I can eat hot dog, I can eat hoagies, I can eat wings, and then that's how Wing Bowl was born. So Wing Bowl became a small thing, and it became a bigger thing, and now it's a massive thing. And so Wing Bowl is an entity unto itself where people get in line to buy time.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Every bar in the city, every strip club in the city is fully involved. So that's the idea. You come up with something generic, or you come up with something organic. You don't plan it.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying everything isn't planned, but normally when you plan something, then you get a sponsor that fits in with what you're doing,
Right.
as opposed to the other way around. And now it's upside down. Now it's like, just go sell something to somebody, and then we'll find a way to build something around it.
Right.
And a lot of times it doesn't work because you can't deliver what the customer wants.
Well, and unfortunately, what ends up happening is that instead of the sales growing because everybody's so excited about it, they just like, well, this wasn't working. Let's go on to a different one. And then we go on to, and it becomes more about bean counting rather than about the product. So when Tony said the fans were still demanding to hear him, and he's like, well, what about this podcasting thing? What can we do?
Right.
I remember 4.5 years ago, podcasts were around, but they weren't. Now everybody has a podcast.
Right.
I mean, anybody who is even if you're a nobody, you can have a podcast. So
Hey,
it's not like
it's a television show, right? Alex Inc. Have you seen that show?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
And so what Tony wanted to do, though, he didn't want, like most podcasts, and still to this day, there are a few, but to this day, most podcasts are people that make the recording, and then after it's done, they load it up and then they put it onto the platform.
Traditional, yep.
And Tony wanted to, one, be live. He wanted to be able to take phone calls, and he wanted to be able to go on remotes because that's something that is incredibly important to him. He wants to be able to bring.
We love to go out and kiss babies,
Yes.
slap back.
He loves that.
Be with the people.
He loves to be with
We're going to
people.
be at Cinco de Mayo. We're going out to another, back to the
Correct.
Cantina Laredo in King of Prussia
And-
for our Cinco de Mayo combo mambo deal.
Correct.
It'll be Cinco de Mayo, bless you.
Thank you.
And it will be Kentucky Derby Day, the
It's-
same Saturday. Do you
it's
realize
like-
that?
Wow.
It's going to be a busy day.
It's a
for Tony.
trifecta.
A lot of hats.
It's like a
Yes.
trifecta
of
of
big
Cinco de
hats.
Mayo Day.
No, it's two things. It's Cinco de Mayo and the Kentucky
I
Derby.
know,
the
but it's like
exacta.
total-
It's an exacta.
No, because then there was also something else. It's a remote. It's the Tony Bruno remote.
Okay.
See, it's a trifecta. I was
Okay,
right.
it is a trifecta.
Don't correct
I'm more
me.
superfecta guy myself.
And me too, Tony. You know
You
what I
got to
mean?
hit the super. That's where you make the money and can retire.
I'm all about trying everything.
That's just gonna be fun. Tony and I get up at butt crack in the morning and go to the OTB to start putting the action in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're good with horses. I don't go like to the track every weekend, but when it comes to the Triple Crown,
When
we
Farrell
study.
won it, we swept the board. We hit
Absolutely.
every super and every try for the entire 3 legs of the Triple Crown.
That's
Now, of
correct.
course, we had a super horse a couple years ago, but
Yeah.
that
You
helped
rode
a
him
little
right into the goddamn crown, though, didn't we, Tony? Beautiful.
bit. We finally got the Triple Crown
Yes,
after all
we
those
did.
years since '73. Anyway,
So-
so Rudy, so now explain.
Wait. I have to.
We don't need to tell anybody more about what we do. People who watch this show know
No,
what we're
but
doing.
I want
We
to
don't
tell
know what we're doing.
How we
I
got
don't
to
know
Joy-
what I'm doing. How would he know?
How we got to Joycast. So the fact that Tony wanted to be able to do all these different things, literally nobody was doing this. They did not have. So we had to kind of reinvent the wheel, kind of like what you did with Joycaster, and we were doing just audio for a while. And then when all of this Facebook Live and Periscope started coming around,
Right.
people were like, "Oh, you should be on there too." And we're like, "Okay, but how the heck do you do that
Yep.
without having all the professional equipment and still be able to go on remote and still be able to do the things that we had then figured out how to do with just audio?" And that's how I came across Joycaster. And you guys, when I found Joycaster, you guys were just starting to switch over to Switchboard.
Yep.
And you still didn't have what you now have, which is this amazing platform that is called Switchboard Live, the Cloud,
Switchboard Cloud,
and
yeah.
it's called the Producer. Like when you look at the screen, there are so many different things that you can do, and you can see where your video is, and you can change scene. You could it's just fantastic.
Yeah, so Joycaster was for us like our proof of concept, right? So it's build something, put it out there, and get a lot of feedback. But we would get so much feedback. There were things that we couldn't do, like for technical things. We wanted to add features. It was really just an app, essentially. And so I go back to the guys. I'm like, hey, how can we do this? Like, how can we take some of this feedback? And it's like, well, what we should have done was built what they call an API, is like the coding layer, the base layer. So we did that. So we built an API, and then we built cloud on top of that. So we are like our first client using our own tech that we built. And then we actually went through a program, and actually I'm wearing a jacket. It's called Techstars. This was in San Antonio. It's an accelerator, right? So you have this idea. It's like you want to go from A to B. It's a 4-month program. The whole team went out to San Antonio. It's a great way to kind of build your business. And one of the things they challenge us with is Joycaster's cool. It's a great company name, good product name, but really, what's the value? What are you guys doing? And so they challenged us to kind of come up with a new name, something that really reflected what we were doing. And I said, well, essentially, we're plugging you into all these networks. And so that's kind of how we came up with the idea around Switchboard. And we
Because most people don't even remember the original Switchboard. You got to be old, where the operator would plug
operators,
the,
yep.
If you watch like old school TV shows at night, somebody would call and then the woman would put the
On
the
Saturday
plug
Night
in right with the wire.
Live, what's her face always?
Rosanna Dana? No, who was it that did the...
No, it was the... Lily Tomlin,
Lily Tomlin,
was
that's
the
right.
operator. What was her character name? Do you remember?
Lily Tomlin would say, and then
Who was
she'd
it?
have this
People-
one expression.
People on that are on Facebook and Periscope. I'm sure that you guys can tell us what Lily Tomlin's character name was.
She was like a
Looking for it
smarmy
now.
switchboard operator.
Yeah.
But not this switchboard. That was old school switchboard.
But that's what the true switchboard. What this is. So that's the.
That was the
idea,
concept,
the
right?
concept.
The idea is making it easy for you to plug you into all the networks you want to go to. And
So how many sources can now? We're doing 3. We're doing 4.
So you're doing 4 destinations.
But we're taking the one feed with our 3 cameras.
Ernestine,
Ernestine,
the telephone operator.
Exactly.
Doug McGregor, Esmeralda. No, it was Ernestine.
Ernestine.
Good job.
I don't think I know that skit, that bit.
You can look it up.
yeah,
I'm
look
sure
it
it's
up.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
The old
Yeah.
SNL. Back when SNL was funny, actually,
Yep.
back in the day.
We try to pull something after you
Yeah,
get
pull
done?
a Ernestine if we can. So now, how many different streams? Because obviously you need a lot of bandwidth to do it yourself to 4 different sites.
Yeah, so that was
we
more.
just send
Yeah.
one feed.
One feed.
And you guys send it to 4 different sites. But how
Well, you
many
can do
sites
even
can
more
you
than
send?
that.
I'm asking him.
Yeah.
How many sites can you send it to? One stream.
Well, technically, I mean, they'll kill me for saying this. Essentially, it's unlimited, right? You know, we've done events where. So here's a cool event. So Harley Davidson is one of our clients. So think about Harley Davidson and them having dealers worldwide. They have over 700 dealerships. And so they've done an event where they publish a live stream to 515 different dealers. So one stream going to 15 different Facebook pages.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, that right there was like, all right, that's pretty cool. But
Let's not stand on ceremony here.
That's incredible, though, man. That really is.
So we thought that was probably like our tip of the iceberg. But we did an event with Al Gore's Climate for Reality back in December. It was a 24-hour stream. So they wanted to make this the world's largest social stream. It wound up being to over 1,500 different streaming sites. YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. We had this cool feature where we can call it Stream Share, where you can ask people to opt in and carry your stream. And so that's what they did. They built this page, people opted in, and they were part of that stream. And so that was a way for them to create the world's largest social stream. And that was
We actually did that for the Eagles Super Bowl parade. There was a live stream video that was overlooking the parade route through the
Franklin
Institute. And they asked, they reached out and said, hey, do you want to add this to your website?
There you go. Yep.
And Facebook. So we did that.
Yeah, we have this page now where you can think of it like a landing page or like an event page. And so you can have people opt in to be a part of that stream, either for one time or continue. So it's a cool way to really create viral effect around live video. And I think that's the whole thing about live. It's creating that social element and making sure people can see it.
Because when people hear us talk about Switchboard every week, they're like, "Well, why would I use it?"
Right.
It's not just having a podcast and you want to send it out to listeners.
Oh, we get everything.
It's for everything, right?
We have gamers, we have motivational speakers, we have mommy bloggers, we have toy box and openings, you have sports, athletics. I mean, anything that you think about live, you can use it. And
now you were telling us tonight before we came on that you're going to do the daytime Emmys, right?
Yeah, so the daytime Emmys. Yeah, it's the daytime Emmys red carpet show, post carpet show.
Is Ryan Seacrest doing this? I hope not. I mean, somebody else has got to get a gig.
Mario Lopez.
Oh, okay. He's the other guy that's got 1,000 jobs.
Yeah, Mario Lopez. Yeah.
Mario Lopez. The 3 people who have every job now.
That's where Jason's
hosting.
At. Jason's in LA. Yeah.
Yeah. Mario, well, first of all, it's Ryan Seacrest.
That's who's got every job.
Then it's Mario Lopez, and then, of course,
What
it's
about Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Those are the 3. That's your trifecta of 3 guys who host everything on every channel.
Yeah.
And they're not. And you see, Steve Harvey have a show on Fox, NBC, CBS, CW. I mean, that's what's great about being independent.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you were signed to one company. You couldn't work for ABC and then go to NBC and do another show. Now you can work for
hired
anybody.
gun, man.
No, he's an amazing
guy.
talent.
Hired gun. You could do it.
So the daytime Emmys.
That's pretty big, man.
It is.
Now, the average person.
I know a person who won several daytime Emmys. Who?
Oh, yes, you do.
Who's that?
Who?
You dated her.
Yes.
You dated
Michelle
Stafford, who was on Young and the Restless. She won several daytime Emmys.
Good job out of you, buddy.
For the Young and the Restless back in the day. It wasn't even that back in the day. It was like 10 years ago. Is that back in the day?
No.
What constitutes back in the day?
Long enough.
It's 10 years ago back in the day?
I say 20 plus.
20 plus years ago is
20
back.
plus.
20 plus years ago is back in the day. When
Yeah.
you can see yourself as a young adolescent, that's
Yeah.
when you're back in the day
Okay.
was.
Right, yeah.
That's
the way
a
it
term
goes.
a lot of people use.
Yeah.
Like OG and back in the day.
3 years ago is definitely not.
No, it's
Right.
not.
Like if you say to me, back in the day, I won't have any idea what back in the day means to you because we're talking like pre-dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? If I say back in the day,
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying I would understand what Tony's back in the day was because I don't get the 60s. I don't really understand the 70s.
Jim Fox says, "Did you have hair then?"
Of course. In fact, I'm going to post a picture, and I
Go
told
on.
Robin to find this. You know, everybody's like the Flyers again go another year without a Stanley Cup. I was at both Stanley Cups.
Yes,
I
you
will
were.
find a picture because I see like Joe Corrado, our buddy Forza Corrado, post a picture like a real old family. You know, like we're talking like back in the 40s when it wasn't because it was the 70s. This is my family, or this is my family the last time the Flyers won a Stanley Cup. But there's actually pictures of me the year the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. We have to post those, Robin.
Is that when you were wearing the bell bottoms and the
Yes.
mutton chops?
You don't have to have the whole ensemble, just the facial picture with the hair.
I'm gonna see if
the
I can
mutton
find it.
chops. We've
I
seen
gotta
those.
find. It's
pictures.
on social media.
It's everywhere, but we have to post those. The
But-
mutton chops, they're back.
The mutton chops.
They're back.
And you did have
strong.
hair. You actually had hair
I had
on
a
the top
full
of your
head of
head,
hair.
not just on the
Cascading
side.
down.
No, I had full hair. I had the long,
And he's
beautiful
wearing
hair.
the really long lapel
Open collar.
open collar. Did you have gold chains?
No, I never did gold chains. I may have been the only Italian guy in
Four
South Philly.
buttons down, like
No.
basically right above.
Yeah,
the
but
belly
that was the look. Now we're talking 70s now.
Right.
73, bell bottom jeans,
Oh, yeah.
boots,
With the fur.
and then the open collar.
and like a paisley silk shirt.
Exactly. And now that look's come back 3 times since then. You realize that?
Should
That
have stayed
look was
away a long
coming back.
time
And
ago.
one thing about it's not you know what it is about
Two
coming.
times too many.
It's not about.
I agree, Robin.
I agree with
It's
that,
not about
yeah.
the whole look comes back. It's now that people wear whatever the hell they want. So they can wear like a shirt from the 70s, and then they can wear pants from
Okay.
the 80s.
So the prints are really cool. So I have to say, my dad is a notorious, like he won't get rid of anything. So he had those types of shirts he kept for whatever reason. So when I was in high school, I found the box of all those shirts with a really, and I cut the
You found the box?
I found
what
the box.
was in the box, Robin?
all those really cool shirts that he had. They were like handmade in the Philippines. They were like amazing. So I just cut the collars off so that they were like the Nehru collar. Then you know.
The Nehru collar, but that wasn't. The Nehru collar was like a
Yes,
free
but they
stick.
they ended up kind of looking like that. And I wore them throughout high school because they were really cool. And I wore them like with a belt around it so they'd look like a little dress. Then my son wore a couple of them because they were, and then now my daughter's been wearing them.
Good quality then, huh?
I know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
some Filipinos.
And-
man.
You could probably make a killing if you stood on Pass Young and sold some of those.
Absolutely.
Right now. Seriously.
Talk
probably
about
make a
vintage.
Gently
Oh,
used.
dude, we have like somebody that's writing Arabic.
Really?
Yeah.
That's-
Somebody that's writing Arabic
That
is
could be, many
totally
countries,
on
Robin.
our. I know. Look at that. So this is on Periscope. We're being joined by.
Riddles.
I have no
Worldwide.
idea. Worldwide.
Worldwide. That's what's great about social
And I
media. That's
really,
what's great about Periscope.
I really
Facebook
wish that
Live.
I knew what it was that they
Pitbull's
were
on
saying.
Periscope right now?
Huh?
You said worldwide. You said Pitbull's on Periscope right now?
No, come on, man.
I
By the way,
wish
we will
I knew
have
what
a
it was.
Kanye and a Chance the Rapper update on tonight's show.
Chance
so
the
don't go
Rapper?
Yeah, we
Chance
get a
the
lot
Rapper.
of things down here.
Chance the
Now-
Rapper?
Don't worry.
I can see Kanye, but how does Chance?
Chance the Rapper has entered into the fray.
Look, man, you're on the ride. Just hang on.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It
It'll all tie
it goes
in.
off the tracks. It
Okay.
falls around. You may get hurt, but you will get home safely. Though,
All right.
Okay?
Now,
By the way, we have 4. How many game 5s do we have tonight in the NBA playoffs?
We got to talk about that too, Tony.
We're not
but
gonna
we
talk
want to
much
quickly
about it.
apologize to everybody that was hoping to be able to call in and talk. Unfortunately, the call screener portion of our apps and programming that we use is not reliable like Switchboard is.
Oh, that
and
sucks.
so the live audio stream is down, as is the call-ins.
So now we got to get.
Well, you got to tell them to come to Facebook and type in their message.
Yes.
That's
so
what
go
people are doing.
so for those of you out there, if you want to say something to us, please do that via Twitter, Periscope, or Facebook Live. That is the way to talk to us. And if you have a question, we'll be able to answer.
And
it
by
from
the
there.
way, Michael, William, is it
William Schlegg.
William Schlegg says that Michael Strahan's another guy who's got $1 million.
Oh yeah, he's definitely up and coming as far as being everywhere.
He's going to do the Thursday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
He's got obviously he does Good Morning America. He does.
Let somebody else work, though, man.
No,
seriously,
you know what? When you're hot,
I agree with that.
No, it's the same thing with like it's the same thing with like what's called who's the one actor?
There's two of them.
There's Morgan Freeman and there's
Samuel L. Jackson.
That guy's in everything. Let somebody else work. But there's a million other black actors out there who should have been noticed by now. Let somebody else work.
Liam Neeson and De Niro don't turn down any scripts.
Well, and they should is what I'm saying. Let somebody else work.
I totally agree.
I agree with that.
Especially
how many more times?
I mean, I know that
you think they're knocking on doors. People call them. That's how it works in Hollywood.
Tony Morgan Freeman was 100 years old when he did Glory. Let somebody else work.
You think Morgan Freeman is knocking on doors and asking for work?
No, but you know what
here's
you should
the
do?
thing, like when they're
Give it
talking
to the next guy.
When
There
they're
is no
talking
next
about
guy.
diversity,
Michael
it doesn't
Jordan,
mean
Michael,
that it's
what's
just
his name,
the
the
token.
kid?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan's getting a lot of work now. He's a young up and coming
he's
actor.
back there. They're shooting Creed, right? Creed 2.
He's in Creed now. He's in this other movie I just saw. He's in a lot of stuff. That's how it happens. But you know, that's how I got the EA job. You know, you're on the air in L.A. and all these producers are lazy and they get up in the morning and they're like trying to. I got an idea. And then they hear somebody they like, and they call you. And then when they call you, somebody else calls you if they like you. That's what happened to all the game show hosts. They're all DJs in L.A. And that's what happens to to all these other people who become big. And they know you're good. The agent takes the phone calls. They pimp the job to you, and you either take it or you don't.
But my point is, though, is that being I get it. Like you say, who would be perfect for this? Well, Freeman would be great for this, right?
Morgan Freeman's never bad in anything he does.
Right, but can't Morgan Freeman sit there and go like, guys, I also know someone else who might be good for this too. Why don't we give them a shot?
Okay, let me test this out. Luigi.
No one's ever called me, so you can't test it on that.
I'm gonna offer you $1 million again.
I've got $1 billion.
And you're
it's not about money to Morgan Freeman. It's not about money.
Then why keep doing it?
Because people still want him. They love his sound. They love his look. He does more voiceover stuff than he does actual films.
Then give someone
because
else
his voice. So you're going to take a guy who's got an iconic voice.
He does have an iconic voice,
and that's what they know his voice. So they say, I've got a documentary I want someone to do. I want Morgan Freeman.
Maybe there's another voice.
There are
that needs to be
people who
heard
want
too,
Morgan Freeman to do the soundtrack of their lives. Right? Morgan Freeman.
I know the James Earl Jones of the world. I get it. I understand.
There's a lot of great actors who do voiceover stuff, cartoons. It's not just, I'm going to be in every crappy movie that comes along.
But that's what happens.
So I don't have a problem with people getting work. I mean, I'm tired of seeing the same actors. I just don't go see it. The Rock.
It's not people getting
work. Is Dwayne
work.
Johnson in every movie that's made now?
Yes, he is.
Right? He's in every movie.
But that's what happened, though. He turned around in the 3 years' time. He became the biggest action star.
Exactly.
Since
So he's
Schwarzenegger.
now,
Okay.
Right. Exactly. He's the modern day go-to action.
Yeah, he's the
guy.
modern day Schwarzenegger. That's what he is.
But there is something to be said that you never know how long your ride is going to last. So
Take
there's
advantage of it.
take
for
advantage
Freeman,
of
it's
it.
been 7 decades.
It has.
I don't have
he
no
has been.
problem with Morgan Freeman. I don't have a problem with anybody who gets work. I mean, to me, like De Niro was considered the greatest actor ever 20 years ago. To me, he's tarnished that because now he takes every crappy script that comes his way.
Meet the Fockers?
Well, that was actually
Meet
one
the
of the
Fockers.
successful ones. But he takes every movie script. Should he turn him down? I guess not. I don't know if he has financial troubles or what. But to me,
Got divorced one
De
too many
Niro
times.
is a guy like you
He
think.
can live up the residuals forever. He doesn't.
De Niro's a guy who should have just said, hey, you know what? If I'm De Niro, I'm saying, hey, you know what? I've done enough. I don't need any more movies.
Sure.
But to say, I got a guy who's just like me, I'm going to turn you over to him, there is nobody else like Morgan Freeman. There is no another De Niro.
I'm not saying he has to be just like me. I'm just saying, hey, I know of this kid who's up and coming. You guys might want to get, maybe not for this one, but give him a look on the next one.
Don't you
Is what
think-
I'm saying. No, I don't think he does that. I don't.
No, I'm not saying he
I
doesn't.
don't.
He doesn't have to do it. You know why?
Because agents do that.
Because they want him. They don't want some guy who may be
But don't
close
you
to
think
him.
is when you're that late in the game, don't you think it's your responsibility to be helping the next guy up as well?
No.
Well, that's just
Absolutely
selfish mentality.
not.
It's just
Because you know
selfish.
what? When
Sorry.
you're a movie producer and you got a lot of money invested in a film that you have to make it back and make a profit, you're not going to take a chance on a nobody.
I'm not saying
you're not
take
going to take a chance and say, we could have had Morgan Freeman, but he touted us on this young guy that nobody's ever heard of, and now nobody wants to see our movie because they have no idea who this person is.
I just said, hey, maybe not on this one, but maybe on the next one or down the line, take a look at this one, is what I'm saying. That's all. Oh, Barry White's in the house now. Look at that. I love Riddle, man. He has the best poses ever, man.
That is a comfy cat.
He's really not that. It's just the fur is thick. He's actually quite thin. What up, Riddle?
Is he on?
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, he's cool.
No, he is. He's a beautiful.
He's a big boy.
He's well, they're all big cats. They're ragdolls.
It's the baby daddy of Philadelphia right
He
now.
is
Man.
right
He's
now.
pumped out more kids than Maury Povich show.
Yeah,
combined, brother.
Lauren Hopkins says, "I love the peekaboo cat at the bottom of the screen."
Can you see him? Is he on camera?
He was briefly. When
he loves coming down,
yes.
see? And then you'll see we have 3 cats, and then the other 2 will come down later in the show. They feel something's happening, and they want to be around. They're our studio audience. We don't even have to give them food. Well, we have to give them cat food. We don't have to give them pizza and lasagna, though, and wine.
That's for us, bro.
Exactly right. Now, I got to give you the...
You got a lot of notes there.
You see this here? This is preparation.
I like
it. For people who think we just come in here and wing this thing.
We don't.
This is preparation. Not preparation H.
No.
We use that after the show.
Not Triple H.
Now, the NFL draft's in Dallas tomorrow.
Yes.
We have a draft. We actually have a draft going on, right?
Which I'm
No,
kind
we
of
have bottled beer. We don't
I'm
have any
kind of
draft
bummed
beer.
that we're not there because I really enjoyed being at the NFL draft when it was here.
Well, because it was here and we went outside and it was a fun thing and it was the first time, actually it was the second time they had done it outside. And Dallas will be fun and it'll be huge. But you know why? I guess being an Eagle fan and seeing a Super Bowl win and then knowing that they don't have a pick until 32 and they don't have a pick, the Eagles, on the second day.
They don't have to pick until the 4th round. That's the thing. It's that it's so dulled down right now because the Eagles are coming off a Super Bowl victory, right? So you don't really have to worry.
Now, will they trade up out of 32 if they got a guy that they really, really want?
Well, I mean, who are you really going to be in love with at 32 that you can't be in love with in the 2nd or 3rd round? If you
I
can acquire
agree.
a few more picks, you can. But the thing is that it's not the fact of just the Eagles winning that Super Bowl. It's the fact that the Sixers are in such a deep, projected to go so deep into the playoffs. Everyone's got Sixers fever so quick. It's been so many years in between where all we had to look forward to was the Eagles draft because the Sixers were tanking, the Phillies stunk, and the Flyers were out of the playoffs for a couple years. So now, all of a sudden, with the Flyers being in the playoffs, the Phillies are on a hot streak in April, and the Sixers are on a run in the playoffs. The Eagles are basically like, no one's really thinking about them because it's over with.
No, but you know what? I was talking to my buddy Damon Bruce in San Francisco. Do you know that the NFL draft will be streamed on like 50,000 sites?
I bet.
I mean,
It's incredible.
ESPN, Fox. The list is incredible. How you basically can't get away from the NFL draft, even if you don't want to watch it.
I want to.
And then
I'm
all
not
the-
going to
and
sit
then
around
all
and
the
watch the
TV
whole
They're going to be
thing.
doing their shows, their pre-shows.
Oh yeah,
their
it's the biggest
segments.
event in
Yeah.
sports. It will get bigger ratings than the NBA playoffs because it's a couple of days.
And it's football.
And it's football, and still football is king in this country. Despite all the problems, despite all the nonsense, despite the ratings being down, everybody loves the NFL.
But I will give them credit, though, because on day one, they do really put it on they put on a good show. The pageantry, the whole spectacle of it all. I mean, they really do. I mean, Robin, do they not dress it up like big time for TV?
Yes.
They really do.
And
So-
I'll show you how far it's come. When I was at ESPN,
yeah, you were at the first draft, weren't you?
not the very first draft, but I'm saying the drafts back in the day, again, in the 90s,
Right.
they used to start at 12 noon on Saturdays.
I remember that.
At Madison Square Garden. Not in Madison Square Garden, the main theater.
No.
It would be the Felt Forum where they used to do boxing matches
Yup.
at the corner of 42nd Street and 8th Avenue. And that's where you go in. And it was basically an auditorium, and it'd be a bunch of Jets fans and Eagles fans and Giants fans because people didn't come from all over. And then at noon, they would announce the first pick. They'd get the first round done by 6 o'clock at night on Saturday. And then they come back Saturday. And Saturday, they would finish the entire rest of the draft.
It's 2 days. Yep.
That was it. That was noon on Saturday. Now, you know what you do on noon on Saturday now? You're sleeping off a hangover.
Yep.
Or you're getting up early to watch Premier League soccer. That's what you're doing at noon on Saturdays.
Hey, the EPL
And the NFL realizes, and now listen, I love the English Premier League. So that's not a knock. I'm just
Right.
saying 12 o'clock on Saturday is not prime time for sports. It's a weekend. It's noon. But now they put it in prime time, the NFL. Everything's in prime time. And they want to get the maximum audience. So they pimp the hell out of it, and people watch it.
What's the best way? Listen, NFL sells, right? So
Yep.
what's the best way to make money off it? Stretch it out.
Exactly.
More advertising dollars. I mean, it's genius. It really is because
perfect sense.
everyone's going to watch.
Now, you an Eagle fan?
Huge.
Where were you when they won the Super Bowl, man?
Entertaining some Pats fans.
Nice.
Yeah, had some friends come up from DC, and
We were in Minnesota entertaining some Eagle fans.
Damn right we were, brother.
actually the Eagles they're going to be using Switchboard tomorrow for the draft.
Are they really?
See that?
Oh, let's give Switchboard another roaring round of applause.
Now, the one thing that when Robin was talking about Pittsburgh, pre-show when we were having the issue with the phone systems. The one thing was I was like, is there any way they can do phones? Can you guys do phones? Can you make that happen?
No, that we'll add that to the list, right? So
what else is on the list?
Well, we were talking to one of your guys, one of your main,
Jay.
Jay, who's one of your other guys, because we hadn't met you. You're the CEO.
Yes.
And Jay's been great with us. You know, it's like, hey, this is what we're doing, explaining everything. Robin knows it. Even I understand what switchboard. It's switchboard.live,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Switchboard.live.
Yep.
And now you're hearing that everybody's using it now. So we're happy that we were on board and working with you guys from day one with Joycast.
Well, my buddy Rob, who does a show from Wildfire Sports here in New Jersey, they wanted to start doing some remote kind of stuff like that, and they also wanted to kind of maybe get out of studio every now and again. And he was like, "What are you using?" And I told him,
awesome.
I told him about the site, and he signed up for it.
There you go.
And that's what.
And you
they're
know,
using.
see, the
That's
thing
what
is,
they're
we can do it here in the wine cellar. You can do it anywhere.
Anywhere.
You don't have to be, as long as you have, and the good thing about Switchboard is that you don't have to have a super high-speed internet connection to send out
It has to be decent, but it
Yeah,
doesn't have
no,
to be.
you're not going to have dial-up.
Right.
You're not going to go on AOL.
H-sex location, brother.
Are there still dial-up services for
ASL,
internet?
right? ASL, man.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, H-sex location. Remember that when the chat room?
Oh,
told
yeah,
you?
no,
ASL.
I'm talking about, like, what is, like, the
What
most
up, Luigi? Now
primitive
it's ASL,
internet
bro.
you can get right now? I mean, is there still dial-up services?
Probably. I'm sure there has to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
you
like
like the
the lowest
lowest
So
rent.
bad for
but,
them.
But it's the same thing with like using what was I gonna say what is
Instant
it?
messenger?
No, but I mean there's always gonna be Morse code. There's always a fallback. So I guess dial-up still have to be around, right?
Dial-up or DSL.
Okay.
Probably that. Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, when we were out for the Super Bowl, because all the different places suddenly, like all of the different radio shows and TV shows that are there, DSL is the only option that they have, because if they have regular coax cable and there's so many people using it at once that it just saturated.
Yeah.
So they only offer DSL right now, and we were a little bit worried considering what we wanted to be able to do. We wanted to be able to do the same kind of thing from Radio Row, and thank God for Switchboard because we were able to do what big TV broadcasting stations were doing. We have
Without the $10,000, $15,000 cameras.
When you guys do remotes, what do you guys use for your internet? Like, what do you guys use?
We always we make the stipulation that we have to be hardwired.
Got it. Smart.
Yeah, we do not use Wi-Fi.
We don't use Wi-Fi. There's just too many things that can go wrong. So as long as we're hardwired, and as long as I can get an upload speed of at least 20 to 25, with Switchboard, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If anything less than that, and then we might have to, cut something out.
Sure.
Phone calls.
But for like
Phone
right
calls.
now, we're not hating on Blog Talk. Blog Talk is it's the only system out there that
has a phone
allows that it has a
screener.
phone call screener, and we just wish that right now, because they're going through this transition phase where they were purchased and joined with. Oh no,
I don't
blanking
remember.
on the name.
Not Switch.
It's not. No, it's not Tweaker, or it's something like that. Streaker? Is it Streaker? I think it might be.
I don't know.
I'm not quite sure.
There's
but-
only Tweakers. No, I thought Tweakers were a different thing.
Yeah, I forget it. But they're
Tweaker's something else.
but they
Oh, no.
they
Not a
they
tweener, though. A
merged, and
tweener's a
they're
different thing, too,
they're
right?
doing a couple different things, and I think that
Ask R. Kelly.
their call screener platform has sort of been put on the back burner, and they're having some issues, and it's frustrating for us because our fans love it.
Sure. Well, hopefully it'll be better once they come
Yeah.
up back up full throttle.
Or we can just add the audio only and communication thing on Switchboard, and then we'll be happy.
We're trying to blow Switchboard Live up to like the biggest. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg will be calling you for advice. He'll be shutting down Facebook and calling you.
Damn right.
He'll be
man.
saying,
I love it.
that Rudy Ellis guy, he's the future.
I like
I'm old news. I'm old school. Mark Zuckerberg.
Facebook what? Right?
Exactly. Facebook what? It's Switchboard Live.
I like it. Let's do it.
It's the future. We're looking to the future. We're not going back to Facebook. We're not going back to By the way, we talked about Tom from MySpace.
Yeah.
You know, Tom retired, man. He took his money and he went away.
He's good, man.
It's a good deal out of him.
Good job out of him, man. Remember his picture? That was it the
Tom?
whole time.
Silhouette, right?
Right to the bank the whole way.
It was
brother.
him wearing a white T-shirt, sitting down at the desk, and I think he had headphones on, didn't he?
No, he was just in a white
T-shirt, and he had
was
his
actually
thumbs
looking
up.
This way, just going.
Tom from
Yep.
MySpace.
As soon as you went on, you're like, oh, I already have a friend. Oh, hey, Tom. Tom has 9 billion friends.
And Tom cashed out.
Yeah,
Yep.
he cashed out like a son of a
Cashed me
bitch.
outside. And
How
you know
about
what he
that?
said? We have tape of Tom, I think.
Yeah, where's he at right here? Where's Tom?
I thought you had him in there.
I have him over here.
Really?
Like my asshole.
No, that's not Tom.
How about that?
Well, what was that one now, Tom?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
She's kind of blowing up too.
I think it's her 15 minutes
The
over.
reason,
She's
listen
still,
to me. The reason why she's made millions of dollars,
Videos.
and the other 2 little females who have made that kind of money are a really strong argument for pro-choice. I'm just saying. I'm just saying because if my kid grew up to be like that, I might kill him myself.
But you
I'm
don't
just
know
saying.
that. You don't know that when you're a
Yeah,
parent.
how
No,
do
you can see it early on.
No, unless
you
you're
can
strong,
see it early on.
unless you're
Tony.
strung out and you're like messed up
Okay.
as an adult, and then you decide to procreate.
Right.
Yeah,
I did not think you were going that route.
I'm just saying it could happen. Could you see her like, listen, sweetheart, could you come in? Dinner's ready.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Get your ass in his house. How about that? All right. Listen. That doesn't happen overnight. It happens early on.
I think what that says is not about pro-choice, but it does say something about we should bring back spanking.
I agree with that.
well, of course.
There's nothing wrong with a good little tap on the butt every now and then.
Yeah, or a wallop across the forehead.
Now your
That's
beer's
nothing
getting
wrong with
warm now.
You want to stay away from the head.
Is that warm now?
Let me see. No, it's still cold.
What?
Can't be having.
Now,
got
Jack
warm.
Jack
What's that?
O'Donnell.
Jack
in
is
the
here.
back.
He's not in the back. Jack's on the side tonight.
Jack's on the side. He's on the
Little
side.
Jack on the
Jack looks like a
side.
key grip right now.
Yeah.
Don't he?
I've had some Jack on the side. I'm not a big bourbon drinker, but every once in a while,
So
you know,
for
you get
those
a
of
nice
you-
beer, you get a little Jack on the side.
So for those of you who are on social media, if you see Jack O'Donnell, that is actually Jack in the back, in
Yes.
case you did not know that. But he's saying 2.1 million people are still using DSL or dial-up right
David
now.
Price says he uses DSL.
Who does?
David Price on Facebook. He says I
Well,
use
all that
DSL.
money he made pitching and not winning
That's
in the
Mark
postseason.
Price.
No, David Price.
that
is
is
the
David
pitcher,
Price.
the
Well,
left-hander.
remember Mark Price?
I remember Mark Price. Yeah,
Mark Price was also pitcher too, man.
I wonder what part of the country he's in, because it's probably certain parts of the country.
David Price. What part of the country are you in, man? He'll answer eventually.
Yeah, they're a little bit behind us.
So it's a little bit after 8. So I think we're just gonna blow through the break. Let's get it out there.
We do whatever we want.
Now, do you want to get into the NBA stuff now? These game
Yeah,
fives.
I'm
real
not gonna
quick, Tony?
break down
No,
every
I'm
game
saying, but you
because-
just want to touch on them for a minute.
I'm just going to give you that there's 2 closeout games on schedule tonight. And,
Yep.
you know, if you're listening to us on Thursday, these games are already over. Of course. They're all over. The Timberwolves, Houston's going to win. They're up 3-1.
Yeah.
They'll either win it tonight or they'll go back to a Game 6. And then you got the Utah Jazz, the story of this postseason. Let's
Unreal,
be
man.
honest. The Utah Jazz could close out the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got to go into OKC tonight and play Game 5 up 3-1. You know that Oklahoma City's 0-11 whenever they've been down
Facing
3-1
elimination.
in any series.
Yep.
And give it up to the Utah Jazz.
Best defensive team in basketball, Tony.
I mean, the Gordon Hayward, they let him go to free agency. He signs with the Celtics. Unfortunately, gets hurt right at the beginning of the season. They've been a revelation. They're the story of this postseason. Because I don't think there's no way they're losing this series.
They are. The other quiet one is because they finished up their series.
New
at
Orleans
4
Pelicans?
Or the New Orleans Pelicans.
And the New Orleans Pelicans are going to play the Warriors now. Here's what's interesting about the
That's
NBA.
gonna be a good matchup.
How about this? Saturday night, all right? You think a big weekend coming up for the NBA playoffs? On Sunday, in the NBA, there may only be one game. Do you realize that?
That might not be a bad thing, though.
No, and that game would be the only game that's locked in right now is the first game of the Western Conference semifinals, Pelicans, Golden State Warriors. That game 1 in the West is Saturday. Now, there could be a game on Saturday as well in the Milwaukee-Boston series if it goes to a Game 7. So you'd have that Game 7. It's a possibility, although Boston's up 3-1 and could probably close it out before Sunday or Saturday. So the Boston plays tonight.
I thought they were
against
3-2.
It's 3-2
It's 3-2. So Boston closes it out tonight, or they go to Game 7 on Saturday. They can close it out tonight or go to Game 7. No, Boston's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow's the night.
Boston's Thursday night at Milwaukee. Celtics 3-2. That's the only game on Thursday night.
Correct.
Friday night, as I mentioned, you have pretty much nothing in the NBA. Sunday, you can only have one game, or you could have three. You could have Game 7s, Washington, Toronto, Minnesota, Houston, India, Cleveland, Utah, and Oklahoma City, if those go to the limit.
Correct.
You would have 4 games. If they don't go the limit, you'll have no games on Sunday in the NBA.
Well,
no games on Sunday in the NBA.
So when would the Sixers potentially play?
The Sixers, they haven't announced. They have to wait for the Boston-Milwaukee.
It's TBD the entire
So it's going to
time.
probably be Monday. It's not going to be this weekend.
No, it won't be Monday. If they do force a Game 7, there's no way they're going to force Boston or Milwaukee to play on a Monday. They probably won't play until Wednesday.
No, I'm saying, but the Boston series,
early, it'll probably be Tuesday.
the Boston series is not going 7 games. They're up 3-2. So they play. So say they lose. Say they lose at Milwaukee, Game 6 Thursday night,
Which
and
can
it's tied at 3-3.
very well happen.
Then they go to a Game 7, and that Game 7 would be on Saturday.
Well,
right?
listen, Milwaukee's already an early 5-point favorite in that game, and Milwaukee plays tough at home. I can easily see that game going Milwaukee's way. No problem.
Greek to freak.
No problem. And
So- And the NHL, we got a Game 7 tonight at the National Hockey League.
Which is huge. Game 7s, it is in
Toronto and
hockey.
Boston tonight, the only hockey game, and that's a Game 7. And the winner moves on, and guess who they play? The Tampa Bay Lightning, starting on Saturday. So that
electric,
series
man.
will end tonight, Toronto and Boston. And then you got the Penguins and Capitals start Thursday night in the second round.
Mhm.
And then you've got how about the Vegas Golden Knights?
Tony.
They are unbelievable,
You
man.
want to talk about in
any sport.
You want to talk about hold on. You want to talk about a team. The whole the term the chip on the shoulder. You got an entire team of guys with a chip on. They basically were just told, "We don't want you. Well, you can go to the expansion team. Go ahead." And every one of them said, "You know what? We'll just go out there and beat the crap out of everybody."
Here's
That's what
the
happened.
difference between this expansion draft and previous ones. There are a lot of good players that George
what I
McPhee
mean.
and that organization targeted. Like their goaltenders won 2 Stanley Cups.
Yes, exactly.
In Pittsburgh. So it's not like they just got garbage that was available. They looked at teams and they looked at players that teams couldn't afford to keep any longer.
Right, but those teams also said, "You know what? This guy's expendable."
But no. What happens is when you have a lot of paid players, normally those aren't the guys you jettison. And to give the Vegas Golden Knights to me have done what no other team in sports has ever done.
Expansion team wise, never.
I mean, not just an expansion team being successful in its first year, an expansion team having an unbelievable season and moving on in the first round of the playoffs.
Tony, they kept ice cold in the desert.
I know.
That's incredible. It's incredible.
We can't even do it here in Philadelphia.
It's incredible.
So the San Jose Sharks in Vegas start on Thursday night, and of course Friday night the Jets and the Nashville Predators start the Western Conference semifinal, the other series. And then so we've covered the NBA for you, and then we're going to get into the Kanye and now the latest development, Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, what's the big deal with him, man? Because I'm really not privy to what's going on with Chance the Rapper.
Well, Chance the Rapper got into the fray. Now we all know about Kanye West. Now you know about this, right?
Lighten me.
Rudy. So Kanye West last weekend, there was an African-American woman who was a conservative.
Oh, okay. Now I see what's coming up. Okay, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't recall her name now. She's a conservative African-American woman, and she was speaking about supporting the president and being not necessarily Republican.
Wasn't it like Corinne or?
No,
I'll pull it up in a second.
And I knew her name, and I should have written it down. So anyway, Kanye West, because she got...
Kimberly Clackick?
No, that's not her. Anyway, so Kanye West, she was being tortured because she's pro-Trump and she's an African-American and you're not supposed to be supporting a Republican or especially Donald Trump. So people started trashing her on Twitter. That's what happens. When you go to Twitter, you can hide behind anonymity.
Owens.
Candace
Thank
Owens.
you.
Candace
Thank you,
Owens.
Robin. I was trying to get to it myself.
And Kanye West tweeted out that he supported her and said, listen, think for yourself, say what you want, and just be yourself. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, then Kanye got trashed, and then Kanye kept going on. And this is what he tweeted. He actually tweeted again tonight. Kanye West said tonight that Barack Obama was president for 8 years. And remember, he was a Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton supporter. He and his wife, Kim Kardashian. So they were supporting Hillary Clinton, the Democratic candidate, and they supported Barack Obama for 8 years. But tonight, Kanye tweeted, Barack Obama was president for 8 years and nothing has changed in Chicago. So it's a shot at Obama, but it goes back. It's not about taking shots at Obama or praising Trump. What Kanye said, he had a couple really interesting quotes. The first one was, Free thinkers don't fear retaliation for your thoughts. The traditional thinkers are only using thoughts and words, but they're in a mental prison. You are
Sheep,
free,
my man. Sheep.
You are free. You're already won. Feel energized. Move in love, not fear. Be afraid of nothing. So when he tweeted that out yesterday, he got ravished again by people saying, "Oh, you're in." They called him in his in the movie Get Out. He was in his what was the space? That was a great movie, though. Get Out.
It was.
I never seen it.
He was in his. There's a term that they used, not safe space. He was in his hidden space, something like that. And so, African American people, especially well-to-do celebrities, were like all over. He lost 7 million Twitter followers because he said, "Think for yourself and don't be part of."
Because he didn't go out.
groupthink."
He didn't go out there and right away just set Donald Trump on fire. He basically said, "It's okay to have your own thoughts, and if you'd like to think this way, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with
But
that."
he made the ultimate
But
mistake.
You can't do that, though.
So then he wore a "Make America Great Again" hat.
No, he did.
Yes, he
Prove his
did,
point.
and it was signed by Donald Trump. And then he wrote, "This is what he wrote: You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does, but that's what makes us individuals."
He has an album coming out. I wonder if this is to help with that.
Well, that's what people are wondering, because there's two ways to look at it. You could say, some people are saying he's lost his mind and he's like flipped out. Some people are saying he's using this.
Well, people have been saying that for years, though. So
Yeah,
this is
people say
nothing
that
new.
about everybody. But now they're saying there's two ways to look at it. You're getting Kanye is just using this to get Trump supporters to buy his album, and then he's going to flip and then trash Trump later.
Whatever happened back in the day, just getting like a fight or get arrested or get shot or something like that.
Those rap days are all over.
Like that, man. Just get
So
shot.
anyway, so Kanye's getting ripped all over the internet.
But the one thing that we can all agree upon is that you shouldn't disown, alienate, or trash somebody just because they have a different opinion as yours.
Well, Michael Jordan said it back in the day when people were talking about Nikes. You don't want just Democrats buying Nikes. You want everybody buying Nikes.
Right.
So if you alienate not necessarily half the country, but if you alienate a third of the country, that's a third fewer people that are going to support your product.
Right.
So again, it's not about you have to come out there and say, "Oh God, Trump's the greatest president ever." So tonight, Chance the Rapper, actually at 2:48 this afternoon, I was following on Twitter. He tweeted today, "Black people don't have to be Democrats." That was his tweet. That's what he tweeted out. So now people are turning on Chance the Rapper because he said black people don't have to be Democrats. But he's not necessarily saying they have to be Republican.
Right, you can be whatever you want to be. It's free
He's
choice.
saying that the traditional black voter votes Democrat.
Okay.
That's the way,
Statistically speaking,
in
it does,
Philadelphia, the people in Philadelphia are traditional Democrats. This neighborhood's traditional Democrats. I grew up in a traditional Democrat neighborhood.
So have I.
Philadelphia is a very Democrat city. Heavily, there hasn't been a Republican mayor in this town in 50 years. So I'm not trying to make this about politics.
Right.
I just think it's interesting that when somebody speaks their mind and a lot of people don't agree with it, they pile on you.
Yep.
So when I tweet something, I don't tweet political stuff. I tweet mostly comedy. I love following parody sites because I tweet them out and people don't get that they're parody sites.
Right.
Even though it's blatantly obvious, they usually say in their first sentence.
Not ESPN.
Yeah. Not Sports Center, Maxine Waters has a fake one. And you could tell the first line in the guy's tweets.
Right. Not
is,
actual account.
Yes.
Right.
Parody account
Yes.
of Maxine Waters. There's a Sean Spicier who is Sean Spicer. It's not Sean Spicer, the former press secretary.
Spicier.
It's Sean Spicier. And this guy is absolutely the funniest guy on Twitter. And so he tweets stuff out every day that's ridiculous. I mean, just absolute ridiculous stuff. And then people jump all over him. And even big time, like the Associated Press, the Washington Post, they don't even realize. And then if they finally realize it's not Sean Spicer. That's how much of a trigger finger we have. That's how much people want to get on social media and see anything that they disagree with or might disagree with, where they could jump on you and start calling you names and saying, "What's wrong with you? How can you think like that?" No matter what your thoughts are.
Because I'm an individual and I like to think for
Exactly.
myself.
That's the crazy part. I mean, the social media is great. But the problem with social media, as far as Twitter is concerned, the anonymity factor. You can be whoever. You can go on there and put a dog as your case. I have my own. I only have one account, Tony Bruno Show. I don't have fake accounts. I don't go in there and terrorize people or.
You got a lot of parody accounts against you, though.
No, there's a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, that's how you know you.
No,
made
there's
it.
a lot of fake, but they're like Tony Bruno's.
Yeah, Bruno, Bruno's wedding ring.
And Bruno's scooter.
Yeah.
And
But those are homages. Those aren't like
Yes.
anti-Tony Bruno.
No,
people.
they're good.
They're like
there
Tony
was only
Bruno.
one that used to go by No Tony Bruno Show.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the,
There's,
that
there's
was
a couple
the
of haters.
anti-Tony Bruno.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, but they're losers.
Yes.
And I blocked them. I don't block very many people, but when somebody's antagonist, if somebody's going to start talking about your mother or your girlfriend's family,
No need.
I mean that's out of bounds. You get blocked for that.
Yeah.
You could disagree with anything I say, but you start talking about relatives or family or kids, you got to get blocked.
Because you're at that point you're reaching. You can have a discussion with someone else across the table, and we can like I've never met Rudy before in my life, and vice versa. And we could be talking about something and going back and forth to be heated, but there's no reason for either one to say, "Well, your mom's this."
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it's just like, really, dude? Like, are we done? We're done talking now. We're not even speaking annimo.
cop out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have nothing more to say. You have
But the
nothing more to
fascinating
say.
thing about Chance the Rapper and Kanye especially, these are multi
Oh, they're very influential people in their respective careers, of course, man.
Absolutely. Whether you like Kanye or not, the guy's an influential guy. He's got 18 million Twitter
A lot of
followers.
people listen to what he says.
You said
Exact-
he lost 7 million?
7 million people because he said you don't have to be a Democrat.
No, that's Chance the Rapper.
Well, you don't have to vote.
He
that
said
way.
that be a free thinker. You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. That was his probably most caustic comment that he made.
Because he openly said, "Hey, I endorse it. I like the guy."
Yeah, I want him to succeed. Right. Because if he succeeds, that means the country succeeds.
You know, if the president does a good job, we all win, right? Like that. People do know that, right? Like
I guess I used to know that. I always want the president to succeed.
Me too.
Because if the president fails, it's
We
not like-
fail. We go down. We're stuck.
And oh, by the way, if Trump loses, if he gets knocked out or they take him out or impeach him, Mike Pence is the president, not Hillary Clinton.
Let that sink in.
So for all the people who think Hillary Clinton somehow, because you're mad that she didn't win, somehow is in the pecking order of becoming president, it's
not going to happen.
It's not possible.
Nope.
I have a better chance of being named president than Hillary Clinton if Donald Trump and Mike Pence and everybody else gets impeached. So anyway, there's the political.
It's Red Wine Wednesdays for
It is
everyone
Red Wine Wednesday.
across the country. It's
I
a
always
national
speak what
holiday.
I always say what I feel.
should.
I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent thinker, and I've been that way forever. So if I don't get into lockstep with your political views, you automatically think that I'm a right winger or a Republican. That's the way people think. If you retweet something that you find funny that may have a political tinge to it, like The Onion or things like that. The Onion's my favorite site. You go to The Onion at all?
I've seen it a couple times, yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Their headlines, their stories are much more fascinating than the real news stories of the world. Just follow The Onion.
You got to do a double take.
Yeah, and it's hilarious stuff. And they never miss. Every time, they have the best writers anywhere. They have the best headline writers, and the headlines aren't always. The headlines are great, but then the stories are equally great. The Onion, Robin, are you following them?
No, actually, I was
It
just
makes me
trying to. I was trying to figure out.
not that Onion.
on Periscope Live. There is an entire conversation. It's either Arabic or Farsi, and I was trying
Well,
to.
the show's a
translate-
Farsi, actually. It's been that way for a while.
I was trying to translate it and figure out what in the
You're
world
talking
is
to
it
people.
saying.
Maybe they're connecting.
They are,
This
but
is
it's
Periscope, not
it's
Tinder,
an
people.
entire conversation, and it's fascinating to me. That
So we're sort of like.
What the hell is going on over there?
I know. Look, that's what I'm saying.
Is that on
it's
Periscope?
It's on Periscope. It is.
All I can read is
many,
the
many,
emoji,
many
though. That's all I can read is the emoji.
I know.
So it's people talking to other people in the same
Arabic.
Oh, that's
In-
awesome.
Well, it's either Arabic or Farsi. I'm not quite sure because I it's one of the few languages that
I know it's not Boston, Philly, or New Jersey or New York. I can't make out those accents. I can actually read the Arabic better than I can read New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
I took just
or
a little
Massachusetts
tiny
accent.
snippet of one sentence because it's more difficult to do the Google Translate because it's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
But this little snippet that I got says, "Finally, thank God, acknowledge that I like," and then I didn't get the rest of it.
They like the show?
I'm assuming that's what they must be talking about.
I think
they like
must
the Tony
they
Bruno
must
show
like,
so
they
much.
must like Rudy because he's a brilliant
That is
guy.
true. Maybe
He's
it
got
is.
Switchboard Live. They could watch us on Switchboard Live right all over the world.
Or
right?
they might be going crazy.
Well, no, they can watch us on the TonyBrunoShow.com, but it's all generated by
Right.
Switchboard.
But Switchboard Live is sending all these streams
Yes.
out.
It's because of them that you can see us.
Now, is there like one like control room like in the Outer Limits in the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, where there's like one box
where there's like a man behind a rock. Did you ever see that episode of the Twilight Zone?
No.
Where these people believe that there's like
a god.
There's a man who tells them what to do, and then at the end they finally.
That's Rudy.
They finally move the rock. There's like a door and a big rock.
I thought you were talking about the Wizard of Oz.
No, they move the rock, and it's a computer behind a rock.
Oh wow. No.
Yeah.
And that's what was telling them that the world's going to end, or that they have to eat this food, and it was after a nuclear attack.
It's Rudy backstage as ColecoVision. Just
Exactly.
That's what it's doing right there. Fooled everybody. Look what I made happen with the little box. That's exactly what it is.
So it's just a box. I mean, there's not people like saying, all right, Tony Bruno's on tonight, so we got to stream him to this, this, and this. No. It's just electronically done, right?
Yeah, it's all in the cloud.
It's all in the cloud. It's up there. It's up there in the cloud.
All in the cloud.
But you must have like hecka huge servers.
So yeah, we have stuff on Google, we have stuff on Amazon, we have stuff on Azure. So yeah,
I was gonna say you have to have some serious server help going on.
Yeah, and it's scalable. So as load increases, we move. We turn things on. As things kind of die down, we can turn things off.
I like the little messages they put on there when your stuff's loading up. When it goes from like 10%, 20%.
Oh, that was Joycaster. Yeah, you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some of the cool things from the gamer perspective.
Right.
That was kind of fun.
PC load letter.
I was like, PC load letter? Yeah. What does that mean? That's from Office Space, Tom.
I only know one scene in Office Space.
Two chicks at the same time.
Yeah. What would you do if I had $1 million?
Yeah, two chicks.
I've never watched the whole movie. When I heard that line for the first time, I'd never seen the movie. One of my producers actually played it on my show for the first time in L.A. So I had no idea where it was from. Like 4. I knew 4 was from the movie Hoosiers.
Right.
Now we know it's from Mitt Romney watching the Utah Jazz when he put up 4 fingers. Did you see that the other night? When what's his face? Kevin Durant got his 4th foul. There's Mitt Romney in the crowd in Utah holding up 4 fingers, pointing it at Kevin Durant as he's going to the bench with 4 fouls, and he's holding up 4 fingers.
Mitt Romney.
And we always use 4 because it's the line from Hoosiers. Remember the scene in Hoosiers, the basketball movie? Norman Dale's the coach. Gene Hackman. It's a bunch of white boys at Hickory High, and they're all in the gym, and he's teaching them basketball, and they're all like moping. And then he says to them before the game, how many times are we going to pass the ball before we shoot, fellas? 4! And they say, 4. How many times? 4. And they say 4. And then he finally says, 4! He yells out 4. So that word, that 4 was pulled from the movie and just put into my show by my previous producer in L.A. for no apparent reason. And it became like, it stuck with the show as
one of the... It is a Tony Bruno iconic comment.
People have their kids saying 4 now. 4! And I had nothing to do with it. And it makes no sense because we just use it. It's a non sequitur. We use it whenever we want. Although sometimes when we do, did the cat go to the bathroom?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Did you clean it up?
Well, it was first one, and then I cleaned up the first one. And
just don't have Jack. Last time, Jack, 2 weeks ago, Jack sprayed an entire can, because we have litter boxes down here, entire can of Febreze.
He goes, I only held it for like 7 seconds. You know how much air freshener comes out in 7 seconds? It's an aerosol can, you a-hole.
We had to bring the hazmat crew. We had to bring in hazmat and fans.
Masks.
We were getting lightheaded. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad.
I couldn't do a show the next. Then my eyes started getting black and blue.
Yeah, it was.
I was hospitalized just because he sprayed Febreze for 7 seconds.
It's exactly.
You'd been better off with a natural smell, huh?
You're damn right. All right, with the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Luigi. They don't select Luigi. Who do you?
If I'm them, I'm taking Saquon Barkley. They need playmakers, man. They got plenty of picks in the draft. There's plenty of quarterbacks. They already brought in Tyrod Taylor. The one thing that team is missing is playmakers. They don't have it. Doesn't matter.
They got Josh Jordan.
No, they have Josh Gordon who can.
Gordon.
He's smoking himself out of the league, Tony. Seriously.
No,
the guy,
he's back.
No,
He's
Tony,
back,
he can't stop smoking weed. I guarantee you. Book it. I will bet you anything. He serves some kind of suspension.
The guy's been through so much. You don't think he could finally realize this is his last shot?
No, he has. In 5 years, he is not. He could be the best wide receiver in football, statistically speaking, yet he cannot stop smoking weed during the regular season. He can't do it. He can't do it.
You can smoke weed during the regular season.
No, you cannot.
In football.
No, you cannot because it's
You
against
don't think
the NFL.
guys are smoking weed?
Yes, and they keep getting caught and they keep getting suspended for league
They don't
substance
get
abuse.
suspended for just smoking weed.
It's a 4-game suspension, Tony.
I know he's a multiple offender.
Yeah, he's suspended for. He's
More
suspended
guys
for
are
3
suspended.
years.
More guys get suspended for some over-the-counter thing that their trainer told them
I
to
understand.
take.
If, like I said, you could bring in Aaron Rodgers to Cleveland. Okay, it's not going to make a lick of difference if he has no one to play around him. They need playmakers. They have 4 picks. With that 4, they also
running back does not turn the franchise around.
But a guy like Saquon Barkley, who is a playmaker, you take him at 1, you guarantee the playmaker. At 4, you have 7 quarterbacks touted to go in the first round. You can take one of those 7 and be okay. Because you already had Tyrod Taylor, who can play football in this league a little bit. You got plenty of picks. If I'm them, there's plenty of Josh Allens in the draft. There's only one Saquon Barkley. You go get Saquon Barkley.
I would.
You go help.
I love Saquon Barkley. They're taking Baker Mayfield, number 1. They're taking a
And
quarterback.
then the run on Cleveland dumb picks will continue because Baker Mayfield could be a great quarterback. The problem is, it's all about where you go. It's the environment that you're placed as the player. He doesn't have the tools around him to make him succeed in his rookie year. He just doesn't.
You don't need to have the best running back in the NFL.
Tony, they have a less than average offensive line. They have 1 wide receiver. The other one can't stay on the field because he smokes too much weed. Their defense is in shambles. The entire team is in turnaround.
That's why they have the number 1 pick and the number 4 pick.
And what you do with that is you go get playmakers. They don't have playmakers.
With all due respect to Saquon Barkley's greatness, I'm not handing the keys to him to be the savior of my franchise.
You're not. You're handing it to the guy you take at number 4 at quarterback, but you're handing the other steering wheel to Saquon Barkley to help you get you there because you need playmakers. That's just what I would do.
I think they're taking a quarterback, but I could be wrong.
Listen,
I'm not going to get as worked up or as excited as you.
I'm not.
It's the Cleveland Browns.
No. I'm not excited and worked up. I'm just saying because people listen. Cleveland has historically fallen into the trap of taking the bad quarterback. Have they not, Tony?
Yeah,
I mean, the list is like 35.
But they're not exactly going off the board and taking a guy no one's ever heard of. They're taking the guy who's supposed to be the best quarterback of that year.
Baker Mayfield, again, who's undersized, if you want to go into that.
Again, I'm saying the other guys that they took weren't like reaches. It wasn't like the Raiders taking Jamarcus Russell.
No, what I'm saying to you is that they keep taking player and miss. You
know why? Because they're a bad organization.
Right. So that means it doesn't matter who's going there as a quarterback at number 1. You're probably not going to do very well. You're not getting put in a place to succeed. But if you take a guy like Saquon Barkley, what is a quarterback's best friend? His running back, right?
Well,
turn around and hand the ball to someone.
But how many running backs are transcendent running backs?
Not many, but every now and again.
How do you know he's going to be? How do you know he's not going to be another Keyshawn Carter who was the first pick in the draft?
Because they're different running backs. I do know he's a playmaker. You can put him anywhere. You could put him in the slot. You can put him
in college football. You're talking about,
and even in the NFL, Tony. Playmakers
I hope he succeeds in the NFL. I have nothing against him. I'm not rooting against him. I don't care where he goes. I just would be surprised if they take Saquon Barkley at number 1.
I would be shocked too. I'm just saying personally, that's what I would do. That's all. That's all.
Now we also have a question on Periscope TV that from Timmy B0040 saying, "Who are the Jets drafting, Tony?"
I don't know. I don't have the draft order in front of me. What do I look like? Mel Kiper? I don't even have hair.
The Jets were reported to take Baker Mayfield. I mean, that's who they were going to take.
You can look at 50 mock drafts tonight,
and they're going to change.
And everybody's got different picks. That's why when I do a draft, like I'm not doing the draft this year. I'm not doing it. When I do a draft, and I've done a ton of them, I over prepare. But you know what? When I go on and we do it, I nail the draft every year.
You know what? That was the biggest. This is the worst. Listen to this, Rudy. So we're at the draft. Right? And Tony and I, he goes, Luigi, what do you think's going to happen next? And I go, I'm thinking they're going to go here, right? And it's wrong. He goes, well, I'm thinking we're going to go here, and he's right. And he keeps looking at his phone. And I'm like, what is going on?
My phone was only a confirmation of what I said.
16 straight picks.
Wow.
And he didn't do 1 ounce of prep work.
What are you talking about? I didn't do 1 ounce of prep
So
work.
I'm going with he's got moles all over the place in the freaking draft room. He's getting called right in before
How do you think people do that? They have moles.
No, but the best thing is he's getting the picks before they're even handed to the commissioner.
For the little bell rings. Huh?
Literally, Tony's as soon as they're writing the picks down, it's going to Tony. Before it's even handed up, before it's
Is that not better than some?
I mean, seriously,
that's some
ridiculous.
schmuck.
That's ridiculous.
Sitting there and pretending that he knows the NFL.
No, it's ridiculous.
Actually, the NFL was supposed to stop that because when I was at Fox in L.A., I had Jay Glazer who was at the draft, and Jay Glazer would always text me the next pick, and Jay Glazer always had the next pick right.
Yep.
So when I did the last draft I did at Fox out in L.A., I nailed every pick. And people were going crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that then so-and-so is going to take so-and-so. And then we would turn up the commissioner. He walks to the podium, and he makes the pick, and it's exactly the same one. And people were, like, absolutely dumbfounded.
Because right now, it looks like it looks like Cleveland's taking Sam Darnold, the quarterback from USC.
But it depends on who you listen to.
I'm just saying that seems to be consensus right now, and Barkley going to the Giants at 2, and then Baker Mayfield to the Jets at 3. That's what it's looking like. That's what it looks like right now. So there'll be some sort of combination. Two quarterbacks will be going in the top 3. That's what it looks like.
Absolutely. There's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks taken, even though I don't think this is a great quarterback draft.
No. I mean, but like I said, Tony, what's the rule of thumb? You got to wait 3 years. It takes 3 years for you to really be able to see what you did in the draft. You got to give guys a couple years to do something.
Who do you like now, Rudy?
Well, I'm not the biggest college football fan, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow these guys the entire. I'm not one of these guys who go, well, I watched them play in college. You watched every snap? God bless you, man. Because I can't get into it.
The only way you're watching those games is if you're a gambling degenerate and you're sitting up at midnight watching Hawaii play on a Saturday night.
I actually hate college football. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the big bad school going to pick on the little school.
Well, that's the part I don't like.
That's the thing. Alabama, right? The whole team's going pro, and you're going to go play Hofstra.
Sure.
Their offensive line's weighing in at like 196, and there's plenty. You're smoking them 73 to nothing.
Don't bogart
That's
that,
supposed to be something great. Oh, why? Because Hofstra gets to make $500,000 for the TV.
That's what
rights.
exactly. It's like
Right.
those
But
are
do
like
you
preseason.
feel good about yourself getting back on that bus? Saying I just literally just pistol whipped a bunch of little kids over here on a football field. Does that make you feel good about yourself?
But see, you're missing the point, and I don't like it either.
It's the big
if you
man
play
beating up
that
on the
as your
little man.
first game of the year, that's like an exhibition game.
Sure.
But if you're playing really like pushovers 8 games into the season, that's a disgrace. And that's what these schools like Alabama and the big schools do. You can play a patsy in your first game, but we are 8 games into the season, and then you're going to push another cupcake on the schedule because they get a payday out of it?
I don't think any patsy should be playing any of these teams. I don't think Alabama or any of those big conference schools should be playing any of those secondary schools. They should be playing up to their competition at all times. For them to go play,
why would they play a powerhouse team in their first game?
Because if I'm playing on that team, if I'm the kid on that team, I'm telling the coach like I'm going to get my lawyer.
What about college
this
basketball?
This is basically attempted murder. You're signing
college
me up for.
basketball teams play like athletes in action and marathon oil in their first game of the season because it's an exhibition game.
Because most of the guys on the college basketball floor, Tony, they're all right around the same height, and they're all right around the same weight, and they're all right around the same.
The disparity is not that different in sizes of lines and things.
Yes,
no,
it
it's
is.
not.
Oh, yes,
it's
it
just that they're
is.
not as talented enough. They're not playing guys with 160-pound offensive
No,
lines.
I'm exaggerating when that
Okay.
comes. But I'm saying though, Tony, but you're talking about guys that are all going pro.
Anytime a point spread is over 40 points in a college
It's
game,
an outrage, man. That's ridiculous.
I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
That's what
There's
I
no
do.
point. There's no
I look
point.
at the
No point.
point spreads. I'm not watching that game.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a 50-point
It's
blowout.
close for 1 second. The coin flip.
Exactly.
That's about it.
Exactly. By the way, I got to mention some bad baseball teams.
It's about time.
We got some bad baseball going
Not
on.
in this town, we don't.
No, you know the Phillies have the best home record in baseball.
Wow.
11 games in. They're 9-2 at home.
And the weather's been sucking.
I know.
Yeah.
But how about some? You want to talk about real bad?
What you got?
How about the Kansas City Royals?
Oh, how the mighty have fallen, Tony.
They're 5-16 on the season,
Are we off?
but they're 1-8 at home.
Jesus.
So they've won 4 games on the road, but only 1 game at home.
How many?
This is a team. How many on the road?
See how it
4 on the
works?
road.
See how it works?
1-8 at home. This is a team a couple of years removed from World Series.
That's what I'm
contender.
saying. How the mighty have fallen.
Wow. You know, the Baltimore Orioles are 6-17 in the basement of the American League East. Then you got the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers are 8-17. You know how many games they've won at home?
No.
3.
Jesus.
They're 3-12 at home, the Texas Rangers.
They're waiting for the end of the season.
Wow. How about the Washington Nationals? They're 10-14.
Nationals.
They're 10-14, which is right in the mix in the National League East. You know what they are at home, the Washington Nationals? 3-7 at home. And that's a really good baseball team. They're 3-7 at home. The Phillies are 9-2 at home and got off to a horrible start where people were questioning whether the manager would last a week.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah.
Well, not on this show.
No.
Then you got, I mentioned the Miami Marlins are 3-9 at home, but we knew they'd suck.
Oh, Jeter,
You
man.
think the Washington Nationals would be 3-12 in their first 15 games?
No,
at home?
I thought they'd be boat racing this division, which they were supposed to be doing.
And then there's the bad teams we knew. The San Diego Padres are 4-10.
They stink.
The Reds are 5-18.
Man, the big red machine is done, bro.
3-7 at home. So the Reds really stink. I mentioned the Miami Marlins. We knew they were going to stink, but the Nationals are bad at home. Texas is bad at home. The Orioles are bad. Kansas City. It's just amazing how many bad teams there are. Now, there's some good teams. So how about the Angels and the Astros now? Do you see that, was it Ohani?
Ohani. Oh, for the Angels. Yeah, okay.
He got banged around today. Gave up 4 runs, and the Astros beat the Angels. So the Astros are 17-9 coming into play tonight. The Angels are 16-9 in that American League West. You know, we talk about Mike Trout was the face of that franchise, but now they got, you know,
Ohani's amazing.
Unbelievable.
But did you see what Trout did? He did that little thing. He had his Gatorade jug and just said Mike's secret stuff on the side of it. He was drinking like Michael Jordan in Space Jam. It was hilarious because people were wondering like, well, how is he so good, the best player in baseball? It's just Mike's secret stuff. That's all it is. It's hysterical, man.
You have to have seen Space Jam, though.
Who hasn't seen Space Jam?
I didn't see Space Jam.
You haven't?
Really?
Okay.
Not because
so you rip me all the time for all this stuff. How could you not have accidentally not seen Space Jam in 20?
There's no accident.
Seriously.
I was too busy watching like
can I
Shaq
tell you
movies.
that
I was watching, what were the Shaq movies? The one where he's a genie?
When Space Jam first came out, it was not a good movie. Like it kind of bombed.
Bill Murray should have got an Oscar for Space Jam.
When Space Jam first came out, it kind of bombed. I think it's just
it didn't bomb at all. It was huge.
I don't think so.
Crossover real people in cartoons. It was
huge.
Yeah.
Was
it was, yes, and it had the most iconic player in the history of sports. A lot of more remarkable. Robin. Michael Jordan was the face of everything when that movie came out.
What year did that come out?
And Bugs Bunny, 1994, I believe. Let me just double check my math here.
Follow what, like Roger Rabbit? You remember
Oh,
those?
yeah, I know, but
1996. Excuse me. It was 1996.
No, I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
that was good.
Yeah, because the
With
chick was
Jessica-
hot.
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit. Didn't she become a porn star and then sleep with the president?
No,
Before he was the president?
the voice of Jessica Rabbit was No, it was what's her face from Romancing the Stone, Kathleen Turner.
Yes, Kathleen Turner.
That movie made $250 million. Space Jam.
Give Robin one of those.
No,
we
when
haven't
it first
done that
came
today.
out though, that's
Opening
like
day made $90 million.
Come on, Robin.
That's a bomb.
That's not a bomb. 90 million. 96? Are you kidding me?
That's huge.
Huge.
That's
It was
pretty good.
$5 to go to the movies in 96. Exactly.
right.
Now you need a second mortgage, a home.
One of the few times I was
Hold on,
wrong.
let me stretch.
You need a
Hang
HELOC.
on, let me stretch. Hang on, let me stretch.
What are you getting?
Did you give Robin? There, give Robin one of those.
This is the person who's never wrong.
I am not
Until
usually.
she
That's
is.
but
She's a
then
hater.
I'm
Lot of
admitting
prep,
I was
huh?
wrong.
Okay.
When I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
All right.
Just doesn't happen very often.
Doug McGregor checks in.
We
and
had
says,
DSL right now. He probably wouldn't have been able to find that out before the show was over.
Doug McGregor checks in on Facebook Live and he
Teach me how to
says,
Dougie.
"This insight is why Luigi has his own show.
Yeah.
Watch Cleveland pass on Barkley and blow another draft."
Yeah. They're gonna end up. I'm telling you, they're gonna.
Is that why you have your own show?
No, it's you. You're the reason why I have my own.
No,
show.
I don't. I'm not have nothing to do with it.
Well, no, because of the fact that, like I said, it just goes to show you have 2 picks in the top 4. Why are you going to stretch to take a quarterback at 1 when you can get the same guy at 4? Go ahead and take the best player away from everyone else and take Saquon Barkley. I just don't understand the logic of doing anything other than that. I just don't get it.
By the way, Jessica Rabbit will be appearing at Club Risque this weekend at the Bristol location only, though. Not
I
in
was a
South
big
Carolina.
Lola Bunny guy, though, man. You ever see Lola Bunny?
No. Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny, man. That's Bugs Bunny's chick.
Bugs Bunny had a chick?
Yeah, Lola Bunny.
Why do you know her first name?
Because I was just looking at the Wikipedia. For
Oh,
this.
okay.
That's why.
Bugs Bunny never had a girlfriend.
No,
Lola
he
Bunny.
did, but
Yes, he
he
did.
did have, and she had big eyelashes and boobs.
But it was basically him with eyelashes. Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yes,
And a
Not
little
like,
ass, too.
and
Just a little
boobs.
ass.
And big boobs. Do rabbits have big boobs?
I
I
don't
have
know.
a pet rabbit.
See?
Do you?
What's your rabbit's name?
Negrita.
Negrita.
She's all white.
Where'd
Now
that come
is
from?
she
Negrita.
She's black.
is
Where'd that come from? Negrita. What does that mean?
She's a little cute black bunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
now is she affectionate? Is she like really well socialized?
Yeah. For certain people.
Yeah.
She likes me.
Do you let her roam free in the
That's all that
house?
matters, man. As long as she likes
People
you, that's
don't
it.
people don't realize that bunnies can be toilet trained. They
Oh,
can
yeah.
be-
Oh yeah, she has a little litter box and everything.
like you can let her out and then they'll just go in that
Yeah.
one spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you let her roam free? Mm-hmm. Now, does she bite people that she doesn't know? Or
Probably. Yeah, she does.
A few cases pending.
There's a few cases of that happening.
Yeah.
Some
I know
scratches.
she bite Luigi because nobody likes
What are you
Luigi.
talking about? People love me, man.
You're the Alex Trebek of drafts? Are you saying Luigi's the Alex Trebek of drafts, Jack?
No, I'm saying you are.
Oh, I am.
Because you have the answers.
Go. I have all the answers.
Maple Leafs have put the biscuit in the basket
It's
to
a
tie
tie-
it against Boston.
High
Tony.
hockey game in the second. Give me the goal horn. I got you. What? I have it right in here somewhere.
I have it.
And the Maple Leafs have tied it at 3 in the second period of play at the old. What was the bar in Boston?
Who cares? Paul Revere Center.
Oh, he beat him glove side.
Ah, look at that.
And a beauty, a wrister. Let's watch it again. Oh, that one. Oh, that was deflected. And it beat Rask to the glove side.
Goalie never had a chance.
No, Rask had it. He had the leg out. He had the glove out. And
tied
he didn't
now.
see it.
Game
it's
7.
a 3-3 game early in the second period of play up at the Fleet Enema Center.
Fleet Enema Center.
When they first opened that new building, it was called the Fleet Center, which was a bank because the bank's bought out. Fleet was bought out by another. It's like the Wells Fargo Center. You know what it started off as? The building in Philly?
The FU Center.
FU Center.
No, the Core State Center.
I remember Core States. Yeah,
it was Core States.
And there was the Whack All Ovia, the Wackovia.
No, it was Core States, and then FU, which was
First Union.
First Union Bank bought them.
Wachovia.
Then it was Wachovia Center,
Right.
or Wachovia Center.
Whack All Ovia Center. That's what we used to call
And
it.
then the Wells Fargo
I used to
Center.
whack all over you. That's what it
Exactly.
was.
All these damn banks. And now that's the TD Garden now.
Yes.
Which was the Fleet Center, and then it changed to something else.
was
and now
it?
it's the TD Garden. But it used to be the Boston Garden back in the day when all the buildings were great and old and rickety and smelled. But the crowds got into it, and the buildings would rattle. Those old school buildings, man. The Montreal Forum, the Boston Garden. You know, all the great places.
Coliseum.
Which Coliseum?
I don't know, any Coliseum. Pick one.
The Aud in Buffalo, where the Flyers won their last Stanley Cup in 1975. The auditorium, they called it the Aud for short. That's back before they had banks naming them. They were just buildings then.
Oh, those were the days.
There's the Boston Garden, the Matthews Arena.
Was it the Matthews?
The Matthews Arena and the TD Garden.
Wow, I never even remember the Matthews
Arena.
Arena.
The Matthews Arena. That's what it's called.
You know what the Patriots' original stadium is called, right?
No.
Schaefer Stadium.
Schaefer. For Schaefer beer.
Yes. Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. Exactly.
That's the it's the original session beer.
Exactly.
It was kind of like
you got to see if you got time, YouTube the commercials for Schaefer beer.
it was like the
Pull one
potato
up right now.
It was
Pull
the
up a
potato
Schaefer.
chip of beers.
Bet you can't eat one or drink one or something.
No, Schaefer.
No, what was it? Pringles.
When you're having more than one. That's what I just said.
And Pringles has the same kind of thing, except the words are different. You can never just have one, or is that Doritos?
Give me a Schaefer commercial right now.
Definitely a chip. But
It's
yeah.
Pringles. Or
Pringles.
Doritos? It's a Pringles.
I'm getting you Schaefer now.
Give me Schaefer.
So it's the same-
Schaefer.
it's the Pringles of beer.
There's Schaefer commercial after a hard day's work. How about-
Schaefer is the. Mario?
The guy's on a
Buddy
train.
commercial.
What is he doing?
He's getting on a train.
Yeah, you're right.
There are times when only an ice-cold beer will do.
And he comes in and kisses the wife.
Stop.
Like this
He just took his pants off.
Wait, I want to hear the jingle.
Schaefer, like any fine beer, tastes wonderful in that first cold glass. But, and this is what really sets Schaefer apart, the pleasure of this beer doesn't fade after one glass or two. Even after your thirst is gone, the pleasure of ice-cold Schaefer keeps coming on.
Pleasure my ass. He's sitting on the
last
couch.
one
His
is
wife just keeps
just as
pouring
rewarding
beers.
as your first.
Wait, here it
That's
comes.
why.
Is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. This is before we had Mothers
never
Against
heard of
Drunk Driving.
Listen.
Where it's like, Schaefer's good the first one, the second one, the third one.
Robin, if you would have seen that commercial, I think you'd have been a little pissed off. Because you know what that commercial was? He walks in the door, right? Throws his jacket on the ground. His wife comes over. He's holding his back, right? He gives her a kiss. She goes in the kitchen. She's pouring him a beer, right? He's got this sourpuss look on his face. And then he sits on the couch. She's sitting on the arm of the couch, and his glass is empty. He's going like this. And she's just like smiling and pouring him a beer. And he's lighting up again.
Now, every beer commercial or alcohol, please drink responsibly at the end. They were telling you to drink, get drunk. That's what they were saying. Could you imagine a beer company today coming up with a slogan, so-and-so is the one beer to have when you're having more than one?
Exactly.
Could you imagine?
When you want to get wasted,
Right.
have a Schaefer's.
Right. If you're looking to get pregnant.
Do they still make
keep on
Schaefer
going.
beer?
No, they can't. There's no way.
Like for example, there's still Schmidt's beer of Philadelphia, but
Schmidt's
it's
is
made
still
by
being made.
they're all made by one company now. It's all made by the people that bought Budweiser.
Yeah, there's a bunch
Like
of companies.
Pabst Blue Ribbon isn't made by Pabst anymore.
No.
They kept the name and they kept the label, but they have mass produced it because it's nostalgic.
Sure.
Right.
And it's cheap.
There's a bunch of candies that are no longer made by the original candy
Like
companies.
Goldenberg's peanut chews.
They're still made by.
They're the only
Goldenberg,
ones
right.
that are still local.
But
here.
there's a bunch of them that have been purchased by other candy companies, and the only reason they're still being put out there is because of nostalgia reasons. And then that one, which I'm not sad about it at all. I'm sorry, people, but the Necco wafers, remember those?
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're gone.
They're gone.
The Miller they're gone?
They're being discontinued, and they were like some of the oldest candy in the world.
Necco wafers?
Yeah,
they're
The Nilla wafers, man.
The NECCO, but they were little round things. They look like
the Nilla wafers.
No,
seen
Necco.
it. Necco.
Not Nilla. Not the cookies. Necco. Necco, I
Are you?
and they're all different colors.
Yes.
And they
Look it up.
tasted
Necco.
like slightly a hint of sweetness chalk. It was
Chalk.
like
So-
yes,
Tell
they
me.
were horrible.
Here's
I
a-
don't understand why people are so upset by this.
Here's the deal with Schaefer. Ready? So it went public in 1968 with a $106 million stock offering, right? Then it goes into, let's see here. The plant opened in 1972. This is in Lehigh Valley. It went anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 million barrels a year. It expanded to 5 million barrels plus. In the mid-'70s, Schaefer's one of the top-selling beers in the U.S. It was ranked 5th at its top. And then it was, recognizing the handwriting on the wall, it was sold out to the Stroh Brewery.
Stroh's.
Yeah, Stroh Brewery Company.
not Alex from Stroh's.
No.
Remember Alex from Stroh's?
No. Then Stroh's then took over the Allentown plant in its own bid for the national market share. It operated the
Oh, it's
plant.
a local beer.
Yes. Then it was absorbed by Pabst. Okay. In 1999. Then when Pabst opted to become a virtual brewer, it sold the plant to Diageo. 2 years later, then they sold it to the Boston Brewing Company, who brews Sam Adams.
Oh.
So the Pabst name kind of just basically got moved on or whatever, but they don't still
Virtual
Our good friend Ed Nasta, of course, who works for the outstanding Liquor Control Board. Yeah, he works for the fine wine and good spirit stores.
Yes.
He says that they actually changed their logo. They changed it to Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than fun, when people started realizing that they were encouraging you to pound them.
Michael W. Little says, I drink Old English 800 myself. I drink Old 800 myself, too.
Do you really?
Yes.
I'm more of a Steel Reserve guy.
Old 800, that's
You
my
ever
brand.
had Steel Reserve?
I've seen it.
As Easy E once said, Old 800, it's my brand. I'll take it in a bottle 40 quarter can. All right? I'm just saying, that is the most poetic way I could just drop NWA lyrics right there.
But
all
you
right,
didn't
man?
get Alex
Never
from
had it.
Stroh's reference, though? That was in Funky Cold Medina.
I've had Alex from Stroh's.
Because Stroh's
Buds,
was the beer.
McKenzie, all the dogs.
Alex was the mascot for Stroh's beer, and nobody remembers Alex from Stroh's. They only remember Spuds McKenzie was Budweiser's guy, right? But Alex from Stroh's, whatever happened to him?
Was he a English bulldog with a patch over his eye?
I
Was
don't
that-
remember. No, that was the Little Rascals.
Target dog, right?
That's the Target dog, yeah. That was the Alfalfa's dog and the Little Rascals.
Yes. By the way, I just wanted to say, Ivy Jeanette 207 said that Ruffles was nobody can eat just one.
Ruffles have ridges.
Ruffles have ridges.
So do the condoms that I think they're the best ones.
Toronto went ahead, Tony, 4-3.
No!
We missed it. Yeah, we missed it.
I missed it. And your Toronto Maple Leafs in a Game 7 now. And you can hear that there's a hush over the crowd at the Fleet Enema Center in Boston tonight.
William Schlegg, Tony, that was Sammy Kapanen's kid who scored.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, the great Caps.
That is great. That's a shorthander, too, by the Bruins, by the Leafs, as the Bruins on the power play and give up the shorty. Wow, how about those Leafs?
Shorty, is it Hoagie Fest already?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But you got to give it up, though, to the Maple Leafs. A couple of years ago, they were the worst team in hockey. They've been bad for a long time.
Stunk on ice, as you like to say.
Yes, they did. The Leafs. Wow.
Robin, you do anything Florida-wise tonight?
And you know what
I
NECCO stands for? NECCO? Ed Nast again. New England Confectioners Company. NECCO.
I think it's the oldest, like,
Oh, I never ate
continuously
that garbage
ran,
ever.
They were like
Yeah, that's garbage. I never ate that.
Yeah, they taste like chalk. It's like slightly sweet chalk.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
I don't think
chalky
I've ever had
candy.
it.
Now
And they were nasty.
No,
But
nobody.
it's been around forever, and then they
It has.
finally
I
shut
think
it down.
I think it was like since the 1800s or something crazy like that.
Jack O'Donnell said Pringles was once you pop, you can't stop.
That's true. That's
No,
true.
I think that's what guys with Viagra would say.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, for 4 hours at least.
Okay, I have to say something.
How many hours? Yes.
I know that this is not politically correct, but it's really, really funny. So I reposted the Periscope show on Twitter to share it, and I asked people saying, by the way, if anybody speaks Arabic, could you please tell us what the conversation is all about? Because it's been going on for the last hour, and hundreds of people are like commenting on it. And unfortunately,
What country are they?
I don't know, but it's Arabic. I definitely,
Okay.
it's not Farsi, it's Arabic.
Okay.
We're sure it's on the up and up. Like,
I
I'm
did
just making
Google.
sure.
I did Google Translate, and so I found out that it was Arabic, but it's just too much to figure out exactly what the conversation is.
So they're not regulars then.
Who knows? I mean, we have people listen to us all over the world.
People listen to
So
us
it
all
could've
the
been
time.
just two people.
This is the first time, though, that I've seen a huge, long conversation with many, many, many people going back and forth in Arabic.
Because this is the most inclusive podcast in the world.
I guess so. There you
This
go.
isn't just
So-
some Philadelphia honk show. You know what I mean? We're not just sitting here talking about.
But
You
I
know,
asked, so
get back
I
to the Eagles
put it out there. I
Exactly.
said, if anybody speaks and reads Arabic, please tell us what the conversation is. And somebody wrote back, silence. I kill you.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the best.
I know that's not politically correct, but that was fun.
That was great.
So what do you think of the show so far now?
It's fun.
It's not a normal podcast,
No.
is it? What would you? 'cause
Well,
there's like
what
there's
is
tech podcasts.
what is a normal podcast?
Like there's really like some of the most popular podcasts are specific to like tech.
But there's a lot of them are scripted.
People playing
Wrestling is huge.
Oh, wrestling's
they do.
huge.
Yeah, they
Guys
do.
playing video games get millions of views.
Sure.
Guys sitting alone playing a video game.
My ex-husband works for Google and YouTube, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, you just need to like. He's been talking about forever that Tony needed a YouTube channel.
Sure.
And he was talking about how many the top grossers on YouTube is like this guy from, I think it's Sweden or Norway. That's a gamer. All he does is puts one camera watching him play video games.
But you have to be entertaining. You just can't sit there. You have to.
But he wasn't entertaining. Like all he did was, that's how he started.
He wasn't talking like the Swedish chef.
No, it just was, all he did.
You know, I had that in me, did you, Tone? There you
Yeah, that's good.
go.
Does he have the Swedish bikini team come in at least? And so
He
you
has
don't
to have
remember the
something.
Swedish-
Yeah.
I'm sure.
What beer commercial was
this-
the Swedish bikini team, Robin?
I know it was in Dumb and Dumber.
I have no idea.
No, there was actually there was a beer that used the Swedish bikini team as their actual mascots. I got to play my my music now.
Random facts.
Get the Jeopardy out.
Let me get the Jeopardy music.
Oh, Milwaukee.
Did you look it up?
Damn right I
George
did.
Bell, you didn't give me time to play the stupid.
Old Milwaukee, Holmes.
Old Milwaukee.
Old
the
Milwaukee.
Swedish bikini team.
In 1987.
Wow.
That's good beer knowledge right there.
It's got 17 million views.
Do you blame
And they
him?
later went on to become ABBA. And then they did some stupid musical and bad movie remakes. And Robin watches them 24/7. I love ABBA. I just don't like the Mamma
ABBA was
Mia.
one of the most phenomenal
I love ABBA.
groups ever.
I just didn't get Mamma Mia at all.
No.
Because
There's
you
a
were not
sequel
a
coming
true
out. Did you know
ABBA
that?
fan.
There's a Mamma Mia 2 coming out.
As there should be.
I hate to do it to you again, Robin.
You missed the boat, Tony.
It's ridiculous.
I'm more of a Toto guy.
We were playing.
I missed the song. I missed the Rains in Africa. It's a great song.
They
man.
overplay that though on those soft rock stations.
I don't care. I don't care, man.
But
I'm
I
on
do have a
76
Florida.
and I'm stuck in traffic.
Would you like to go to Florida?
Let's go to Florida.
Yeah, I'll go to Florida. Right
We got a
now.
Florida update. Miss Robin always find. Actually, they find her.
The weirdest stuff happens in Florida, man.
Florida man.
Oh, Florida man is.
Yes.
But
Now,
Robin doesn't even have to go to Florida man to get her story.
no, and we already, I think it was last week, so I'm not doing this one, but it does deserve a quick mention that one of the most iconic things about Walmart, which we love dearly,
The people of Walmart. You've seen
is
that collection.
the people
Oh,
of
yeah.
Walmart photos and videos.
Mm-hmm.
They might be a thing of the past.
No.
Because Walmart is now going to be adhering to a strict
Shirts and
dress
shoes?
code.
No.
A dress code to go to Walmart?
You can't church up Walmart.
know.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
You know how many Walmarts I've been into in South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama,
But this
Florida,
goes, this actually
Mississippi?
This goes both ways, though.
You're not allowed to have a lot of clothes on when you go into those places, even in the winter.
But they're also getting at the same time that they're requiring people to at least have some kind of clothing on that covers up their bodies. They are allowing their employees to wear jeans. So that's a big, for
They
the
still
employees.
have to wear it's blue, right? Don't they wear blue tops at Walmart?
I think so, yeah. Some of them are even like smocks.
What are they going to do? Have people check in their phones at
Probably
the
the
front
greeters.
desk?
The greeters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave your phone here. We don't want you taking any
No.
butt crack shots when somebody's bending over in the Cheetos aisle.
Just tell me talking about going to Walmart.
Yeah, I've been everywhere, man.
Yep.
The Walmarts in the South are the best, though. They're all huge and they're all clean. Everybody's friendly.
I know.
They got everything in there.
Unlike the Walmart down here. I hate to rip the Walmart here in Philly, but I'm ripping it because it's bad.
Mamma Mia 2 is Papa's Revenge? Is that what this called?
I have no idea.
I know
But let's
what's his
go-
name is in
but-
it. Let's go back to Florida.
Let's go back to Florida. So we're
Read the
hoping
music, though.
we're hoping that Walmart will still have at least some fantastic visuals for us.
They always do.
Because they
never
always do come
disappoint.
through.
It's Tramp Stamp USA, man.
Yes, it's beautiful.
What does Florida have to do with that? Like, where did that come from?
I think that originally that Walmart, the photos of Walmart or the people of Walmart were mostly in
where
Florida,
it originated
and
from.
then it grew from there.
Gotcha.
Because, I mean, it's nice down there. So you walk in wearing
Yes.
basically whatever. You know what I mean?
I'm wearing a tube top myself if I'm going down there.
Speedos and tank tops? Yeah,
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah,
Thongs.
my favorite one I think that I saw was like one of those. It was a guy with one of those. I don't even know what you call it because it's not a Speedo, but it's like a banana hammock,
yeah.
but it had stirrup, like it had.
Like the
It went
wrestlers
all-
do? Like the
Singlet?
Yeah, the singlet.
But it didn't. But it was literally just a banana hammock and then with straps over the
In
shoulders.
Walmart.
In Walmart with high heels.
Dude, I don't know. I'm there.
Dude.
I'm so there. Let's go to another story from Florida and your correspondent.
Yes.
A woman who's been to Florida many, many times.
Many times.
Miss Robin.
Now, as you know, marijuana is everywhere. We smell it here daily.
In our backyard, I'm
Yes.
stuccoing the wall. I'm getting a contact high.
Yes.
I did hear a Dave Matthews song playing, though, so I figured somebody had to be smoking.
Now, because of the sale of marijuana, I'm sure people probably try to, like, I think I recall somebody bringing oregano to high school saying that it
people,
was.
they sell a skunk weed and fake weed.
Yes.
Kids think they're buying a nickel bag when I was growing up. Hey, man, this guy's got weed. $5. And then you get it, and then you look at it, and I never even smoked it. And
Tastes
it
like
was
a
like
hoagie.
oregano.
Well, if it smells good, it ain't weed.
weed.
If it smells good, if it smells like pizza, that ain't weed.
Just eat it.
Just eat it.
As Andrew Zimmern, our good friend, would say, if it smells good, don't smoke it, eat it.
Well, in South Florida, a drug dealer named Silas Spence thought that he was buying $3,000 worth of marijuana, which is, I don't know what.
$3,000, that's a lot of weed.
That's a pretty big baggie, right?
Would Josh Gordon handle that in the season?
Season. I'll see you by the third quarter. Holmes, what are you talking about?
Oh, man.
Now-
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm talking facts.
Silas was planning on reselling this, so he was planning. He bought it for $3,000. He's probably thinking that he could,
Yeah.
divide it up and sell it for maybe $6,000 to $10,000. Turns out, it wasn't weed.
What was it?
It was
oregano?
It was the other green stuff.
Wait a minute,
that
wait, no.
children and George W. Bush hate.
Or
was it-
Oscar the Grouch?
Or was it Clinton that hated it?
No, it was George
It was
W.
one-
Bush.
It
hated
was,
broccoli.
yeah, broccoli. That's what it was. It was
Broccoli?
broccoli.
Broccoli.
Somebody's selling broccoli as weed?
He got broccoli that resembled marijuana.
Well, the stems, or at least they had to be the good
I
parts.
don't know.
Smoke yourself retarded.
Yeah.
Seriously.
How can you mistake
When you're high, man.
broccoli for marijuana?
If you're spending $3,000 for a nice, I'm assuming $3,000 is a lot of weed.
Well, I mean, it depends.
How much
If you
is a pound?
If you take broccoli, broccoli is very vibrant in color. So
Yeah.
if you take it and you just kind of like let it
Let it
pull
dry?
apart, if you just pull it apart and on its face,
Maybe like the little florets, just
Not
the
just
little
that,
the
but
little things on top.
Mix a little weed inside, and you get that smell. Maybe you only put
dry
maybe
it out.
$6, $7 worth of weed in there.
$6 or $7 worth of weed?
I mean, just to get the smell of marijuana in the
I'm
bag.
asking you this. You're going to drop $3,000.
I don't do drugs, so I would.
I'm hypothetical. If you're going to try to sell weed, and you're buying it for $3,000 from somebody.
You should know what you're doing.
You should know that you're going to taste the product. You ever see, like on Breaking Bad?
Tony, no one's got time to sit there and watch you smoke weed before you buy it. It's a drug deal. You kind of got to keep it moving, Holmes.
When they went out in the desert, and he met with
They're out in the desert. They're in
when
Florida.
they're out in the desert to make a deal for the crystal meth, the blue meth, which Robin threw away today, the last of the quantity.
Danny Dale says I couldn't even pull that off, and I was good. He said, I paid for college. All right, that's what he said.
Anyway, you got to be dumb. So what happened?
So it's a long, drawn-out story, but let's just say that somebody did not survive this particular transaction.
Oh, so somebody got killed?
Yeah, actually. So broccoli kills. Ladies and gentlemen, broccoli
I know it smells.
kills.
I know that. I mean,
Well, it smells in a totally different way. So
does your urine still smell if you smoke broccoli weed?
I don't know.
I thought it was asparagus.
Both. It's asparagus and broccoli. Broccoli, yes.
But it wasn't just to.
Doesn't
be
your
clear,
urine smell when you eat broccoli too? Mine does.
I think so. Really?
Yeah, it's asparagus is the worst.
Well, asparagus
but broccoli
is instantaneous.
and Brussels sprouts also because they're all in the same family.
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's cruciferous vegetable.
What kind?
Cruciferous vegetable.
But anywho, unfortunately, somebody
the
wanted
guy
to.
the guy that tried to sell the broccoli, or the guy that bought the broccoli.
I think I need to chart it out, but there was somebody that died because of revenge. I haven't gone into the whole detail. I just like
You
the
didn't
whole
even read through the story, Robin?
No, the whole point of this story was that somebody idiotic enough thought that broccoli was marijuana.
And somebody was so pissed off enough that they died as a result.
Yep.
That's the story. Guy gets jacked with bad weed and he shoots somebody and he gets killed.
Exactly.
Was he shot?
For $3,000. Yeah, he was shot.
It's a lot of quiche.
I've killed for way less than that.
I'm South Florida.
Hey, man, it is what it is, brother.
Yes, it is.
It happens, man.
So there you have it. Let's close out the Florida segment tonight.
It's
Do I have the-
I don't know why it comes in so hot, but it does.
It's time for us to go to Florida again. We need to do another remote down there. Where are you guys' office in Florida?
Where you guys is?
That is part of my lexicon now.
I hate that.
cannot
Where
say
you
it.
guys is?
That's worse than use. That's
Where-
worse than use.
I don't know why.
There's
I
no
cannot
such thing as
not
use
say
guyses.
that. Well,
That's a double
where
usury.
Where
you
you
guys
guys
is. To me, it should be because it sounds.
What was the
exactly gets my point
no,
across. You guys is.
Orlando, Florida. Actually, I'm going there tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow.
Take me with you.
You know, we have our good buddies. We have many friends.
I
in
know
Orlando.
Danny Dow.
Not just Danny, but we got our buddy at the Walt Disney World with the police force down there.
Yeah.
You know the police force that actually takes care of the fire department and the EMTs that take care of Walt Disney
Is that the
World?
shirt you gave me, that purple one?
Yes.
That's the most famous fire station
It's
in
the
country?
most famous fire station in
the country. right?
And it's based in Walt Disney World, and it's a separate town. It's its own fire department and its own EMTs that just service Disney World. Did you know that?
When we went to Disney World, there's one thing I couldn't believe. Is there isn't one piece of trash in the entire park.
It's little
You
fairies.
see no one working, but nothing is ever on the ground. There's tens
Would
of
you
thousands of
really
people.
go to Disney World on litter? Like, could you get away with
No,
that?
you can't.
Think about it, right?
I pick up when I'm walking down
People
Main
do
Street,
it, though.
USA.
I've seen people throw
I've seen
stuff
stuff
down,
on the
yeah.
ground because the
Yeah,
other
you
person
turn
can't-
around and
I go
it's
to it
gone.
faster than the guy with the little.
Instantaneous.
Those guys that I want to bring one next time when I go to
The best
Disney.
was we were at Epcot.
Squeeze
though.
things that pick up trash. You don't have to bend over.
The best when we were at Epcot and we're walking around, right? We're doing, and we just got done eating lunch, and we're walking past. I think it was China.
Reedy
and they
Creek.
had the
Reedy Creek, yes.
They had those what's called like the Chinese. I guess they're acrobats too, but they were spinning the plates,
Yes.
and stuff like that. And they never make mistakes, right? And everyone's like completely quiet. I mean, it's like dead silence, right?
And it's like street art, so it's not in the gym. It's like right in front of the world, right in front of China.
But it's
exhibit.
like dead silence, and this one girl was like standing on the guy's shoulders, and she drops a plate, and all you hear is the plate like smash, right? No one makes a sound. I pull my cell phone out, all you hear is. Tony's like,
He
did you
would do
really
that.
just fucking
He
do
would do that. Yeah, that was a
the-
disgrace.
People were like, did he really just do that?
It was a disgrace.
It was hilarious. It was great, man. There was no other
disgrace.
better time to do that than right then and there.
And Michael W. Little checks in from Clearwater, another one of our favorite places.
Yes.
It's a beautiful city.
I love it.
Yeah.
Our good friend Dean's
He
down.
says, I'm in Clearwater. You guys can do a show from my efficiency.
From his efficiency.
And he's got old E. He's got old E. So we're good.
An
You
efficiency?
guys'.
I like that term.
Yes. That's an underused term for an apartment.
Mickey
an
Dela-
efficiency.
Mickey
Is that
De-
the same as a studio?
It's a studio.
Studio,
Yeah.
yeah.
Studio sounds better than efficiency.
I used to live in a. I called it a conveniency.
Convenience?
Yeah, because it's so convenient. What else can you lay in bed and make breakfast at the same time, dude? I'm not kidding. If I forget to flush my toilet, all I got to do is move my foot 3 inches to the left, and I'm good to go.
man.
I called it a convenience.
You know what that goes for in San Francisco? About $4,000 a month.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
I had a nice conveniency, man. It was good.
Convenience.
It's a conveniency. Mickey Delaney says, Luigi, Robin can talk whatever way she wants when you said you hate the NHL.
That's right. You know
Because
Luigi hates
you
hockey. You
hate
hate
the
hockey now?
NHL.
I don't hate
means
hockey. I
that
just don't follow it.
No, Luigi hates it.
He hates it. Yeah, he hates it.
He hates hockey.
He doesn't understand hockey.
Hey, Mick.
That's what it is.
Bafangul, eh?
Seriously, all right?
2 main rules in hockey, right? What, offsides.
You got to know.
icing.
But
Are you kidding?
There's only 2 things you have to learn about hockey: is icing and offsides, and that's the only thing you need to know about the sport. I just never understood. Okay, let me get this right. It's not the game of hockey I hate so much. It was the Flyers type of hockey. That's what kind of messed me up in the Flyers.
What Flyers
fan
type
base.
of hockey?
This whole dump and chase and muck and grinder. You know what I like to watch?
They've had like 50 different styles since the 70s,
and-
man.
No.
Yes, they have.
They haven't. And anytime someone tried to, when Laviolette,
You think
when
I guess you still
Laviolette
think
was
that they
here,
brawl, have bench clearing brawls,
all
right?
When Laviolette was here, he tried to change it. He tried to make it into what the Kings were doing and actually playing hockey on ice and not fighting on the ice.
The
And what
Flyers
happened-
were not fighting
what
for
happened
the
a
last
year
20
later?
years.
What happened a year later? They fired his ass after 4 games. Hockey is a beautiful game when you see guys who can actually have skill, stick handling.
That's what the
puck
sport
handling,
is now.
shooting.
It's not about guys and goons and fighting.
It used to be
When
way more
was the last
about
time you watched a
fighting.
hockey game?
The problem is, Tony, is that it was so long for me to get into it because I was just turned away from that. That's what it was. I just never really got into the sport. I know the game of hockey. I watch it. I know some of the players and things like that. It's just not my go-to. It's just not my go-to. That's it, man. I don't get all crazy about it. I'm not, like I said, and hockey fans are really, really. Some of those die-hard hockey fans, they do nothing but watch hockey. They don't even
That's
go
fine.
outside.
There
That's
are
all they do
people
is
who just watch soccer. There are people who just watch basketball. There are people who just watch baseball.
No, for the most part, an NBA fan will also watch a football game or watch a baseball
You're
game.
totally generalizing right now.
No, I'm not, because there are a lot of hockey fans who, if they're hockey purists, they won't even watch the NBA. They will not
That's not
watch the
true.
NBA.
But that's a purist of any
There
sport.
are no
Really?
purists. The purists are like 75 years old now.
That's the
There's
whole
no hockey
Go
purists.
listen to a
terminology
Go listen
purist
to a
means
hockey
that-
show or something. Or listen to people talk about hockey. They could care less about anything else that's going on in the world except for
That's not true.
hockey.
There,
That would
maybe
be a
it's a
purist
fringe
of any
minority.
sport.
There are people who are Flyers ticket holders whose grandfather, whose grandparents were Flyers season
Good
ticket
for-
holders.
good
They
for them.
pass
Good
it down.
for them. I don't
Same
care.
thing with basketball. Sports, baseball fans, all fans who like the sport, have kids that play. Here's the difference. A lot of people's kids who play hockey understand it, and then they like professional hockey too. A lot of kids who play basketball and they can't even play, and they just go out there and play like crap. They don't become pro players, but they still watch the game.
I'm just saying, I don't need to be a fan of it. When people tell me, they're like, "Oh,
I'm not saying you have to be
when
a
the
fan of
Flyers
it.
win the cup, don't go out there and
But
celebrate."
you don't
to
have
have
to
bad knowledge,
I don't care.
To have bad knowledge and to say that the sports, the Flyers of the 70s, is totally cluelessness. The sport isn't not even closely resembling old school hockey.
Tony,
the game has
They are
changed,
the
man.
The game has changed.
Yes,
Tony,
it's changed.
But you know who didn't change? The Flyers for
That's
a long
nonsense.
time.
That
for
is
a
nonsense.
long time.
That is total nonsense.
You cannot say that you don't understand the game, nor do you like the game, and then say you know everything about the game.
I don't know everything about the game. I just know that what I see and what I see I don't like, and I can say that.
The Flyers play the same hockey.
Use guys is over there. You can talk about your own little.
You think they play a different style of hockey?
And they're just not as good as everyone else.
They're not as good as everyone else because Pittsburgh's the best team in hockey.
No.
And there's better teams.
There's been other years.
There's better teams. That's what happens.
They're underachievers too.
They're not
They are.
underachievers. No, they're
They
not.
haven't. Tony, seriously, man.
They're not underachievers. They're not favored to win the cup every year and don't win. You know who's an underachiever? The Washington Capitals are underachievers. The San Jose Sharks are underachievers. They've won President's Cups, win first place, and then get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. That's underachieving. The Flyers, most people didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. Some fans would say don't make the playoffs and go for the lottery pick. To me, it's always about making the playoffs. That's the difference because Hockey teams, for the most part, don't tank. They don't try to lose games.
But here's my thing, though. Ready? As Kanye said, why do I got to think the way you
don't,
think?
But don't.
Why do I got to think the way you
don't,
think?
But at least know what you're talking about before you give an opinion.
Paulo Ferreira
No, you're
says
not.
it best. Come on, Luigi. Hockey's good, yoser.
No. No, and then
Hoser,
Luigi's
Robin.
right. There's a lot of
Hoser,
hockey. There's
oh,
lots of hockey purists. There are. That's all they do is watch hockey. Nothing more but hockey. That's it.
So what's wrong? So let them watch it.
But that's what I mean, though, is that you can't tell me that.
Okay, boys. It's enough about hockey.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes tonight's hockey segment, where the score right now in Game 7
Boys.
is the Toronto Maple Leafs 4
I have a comment.
and the Boston Celtics 3. The Boston Brooms 3. 4 minutes left in the second period at the Boston Garden.
I have a fantastic comment
I know it's a TD center.
from Sam the Outlier on Periscope regarding the Florida story. Millennials on smoking broccoli. Challenge accepted.
There you go.
You smoke and eat it, too.
Yeah.
You eat some, and then when you say, you know, I had enough broccoli, they gave me too much tonight.
It's going to be the next
Here's some
YouTube
of them Tide
sensation.
Pods over here. I mean, slice some of them Tide Pods over here. Jesus, man.
And then
They're expensive, too, man.
Doug
I'm not showing those
McGregor on Facebook says, you should punish Luigi by making him sit through 6 hours of NHL bench clearing brawls from the 70s.
Shut the fuck up.
I have a whole VHS tape of hockey fights from the 70s and 80s, man.
I don't care
Bench
about
clearers,
the
man.
sport.
Bench clearing.
I don't
brawls.
have to.
Who said you have to?
Okay, you don't have to like it. You don't have to hate it, though.
Exactly.
No. No, because there's plenty of guys out there that say I hate the NBA, but they're cheering for the
They're
Sixers.
wrong,
So then just shut up.
I don't hate the NBA. I hate what the NBA is. I don't hate the NBA. I don't hate the players. I hate the game.
You don't. No,
I hate the game.
No, actually, you need to rephrase that because you've told me why you don't hate the game. You hate what the NBA has done to the game.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I don't hate the players. I hate the game. The game is what's changed for the worse, in my opinion.
But it's not the
game.
game.
Is not.
I just never seen a bunch of guys sitting indoors freezing their asses off watching other guys do things. You're inside. Just turn the heat on and let's call it a day, man. I don't understand what you need to play. It's stupid. Melt the ice and put some cubes in some drinks, man. It's just dumb.
What does that have to do with talking about the
dumb to
NBA?
me.
So, in other words, he hates hockey because he's just cold.
That's it.
It's too cold.
That's it.
That's
I don't
what
care.
it is. Ah, okay. Hey, you know what time it is?
Time to go
Time
home.
to go home.
Thank God, man. It's 9:15.
Poor Rudy. Rudy,
This is good.
you're a real MVP, Rudy. Rudy Rudiger didn't have the kind of grind that you just went through for 2 hours.
But he was offside. This one wasn't. That's the difference. That Rudy was offside.
Rudy was very, very nice. We got to meet him at Radio Row.
Rudy Rudiger,
Yeah,
the
Rudy
real
Rudiger.
You know who else was offside? Bobby Nystrom in the Stanley Cup Finals against the Islanders.
Yes,
back
he
in
was.
the 70s.
I have a little bit of trivia, though, about Rudy Rudiger because Tony got to try it on. He has
Rudy Rudiger's helmet from
helmet.
his Notre Dame day game.
And Tony could not fit it.
He's a little guy, and I got a big head.
You have a really big head.
Rudy
How
couldn't
tall
fit
is he
his.
really?
He's like
he's
5'6".
shorter than I am. So he's about 5'7", maybe 5'8". But he, his head, he doesn't have like a small head, but you just have a really big head.
I don't have a big head. It's just egg shaped.
Nah, it's
I'm like
big.
the Predator Alien. Was it the Alien who had that head like that?
I need to find the photograph because you put it, you squeezed it on, and the front plate squished your nose up, and you looked like a pig. It's quite
He
funny.
let you try it on. You had that helmet.
Yeah, because they were auctioning it off for
They
charity.
were auctioning. So Tony, he got to try it on. He doesn't have it.
Oh,
He
okay.
got to try
No,
it on.
Rudy was taking it around to the media on Radio Row at the
Got it.
Super Bowl a couple years ago, and he was auctioning it off
Right.
for charity. So
Yeah.
that was cool,
Nice.
but it didn't fit.
No, it did not.
Now Luigi's back on telling people, I'm not a hater. I just don't have to like what you like.
Well, you know what?
What?
That's
Unfollow me.
exactly
Telling you to like
That
it.
is exactly what Kanye West said, and
That's
we do
right.
agree with him. So if we agree with Kanye on that, then we should allow.
You're in a
the-
mental prison, Luigi. As Kanye West said, you're in a mental prison.
At a motherfrickin' cuh. All right, man? Seriously.
All right, that's it. I'm shot.
Oh, please.
Can we actually plug the actual plug here since the
Yes.
guy's here?
Please, if you have any type of streaming needs,
Yes.
check out switchboard.live.
Yep, that's us.
And they will be able to pretty much do anything that you need.
You've heard it. The Harley Davidson.
Well, I don't know about anything.
No,
Pretty much anything.
But yeah, we
how many
definitely
Harley
know.
Davidson dealerships got a stream from one place?
515.
If you have-
515.
If you have a business, if you have friends that you want to be able to show what you're doing, if you have family, like if you have maybe a daughter that's getting engaged and you would like to be able to stream the live engagement to all of your
Who would do
family
that?
and friends.
Oh, there's people doing that.
No, Robin did that.
From
We're at the
Disney.
Disneyland.
Okay.
in California.
Unfortunately, I could not figure out how to do it from my phone because you guys didn't have the cloud yet.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't able to do it. But if you guys had switchboard the cloud, I would have been able to stream it live.
And
from
now
my
you
phone.
can.
Now
Let's go
I
to
can.
switchboard.live.
There you go. That's us.
And you get all this. It's the greatest invention since
It is. It's
sliced bread.
There you go.
The
And
greatest.
the internet. And I want to thank Al Gore for inventing the internet.
Oh,
so
where
we
would we
can
be
have
without Al Gore?
But I
Switchboard
want
Live.
to remind people, put it on your calendars. If you are anywhere close to the Delaware Valley for Cinco de Mayo,
Yes.
Which is next Saturday, May 5th.
May 5th, we are going to be live from Cantina Laredo, 2 to 4 p.m. And then we're just going to stay there for the
And
rest of
close
the
the
night.
joint down.
NKOP.
In the King of Prussia
King
Mall.
of Prussia Mall, DJ Gabriel is going to be
DJ Gabriel?
is going to be there after we are done. There's
Isn't
going to
he
be
on The Walking
dancing.
Dead?
No.
There's going
That's
to be
Father Gabriel.
Yes.
music, and we have it. This is open to the public. If you've always considered yourself a mixologist, we are going to have the first ever tequila teeny contest.
Yes. You know, there's martinis, right?
Yes.
But now, how about a
Make-
martini using tequila instead of vodka
Yes.
or gin?
We have coined the phrase tequila teeny. I don't think I've
Not
ever...
Tila tequila. I don't
No.
know if she's working much these
But
days.
if you have a recipe that you
sat
would
on my
like to
lap
try
once,
out,
actually, Tila
I bet
tequila.
she did, too.
Yes.
you can enter it into the contest, and there's going to be fantastic prizes. And the winner of the taste contest that night will have your tequila teeny featured at Cantina Laredo.
No!
Yes,
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
that is pretty
And
cool.
we'll also watch the Kentucky Derby live.
You know what
from
else?
the
You know what else
canteen.
though?
What else?
I'm off that night. And the next one, you know what that means?
You ready to have a good time? Yeah.
It's gonna get stupid. I'm telling you that right now.
Luigi might have to get a hotel room up there.
I have twice. I'll do it again. I get a weekend rate, and across the street, I'm not kidding. Days.
You get an hourly rate up there,
Well,
Ben.
like to
either
sleep
way,
I like to sleep on my thoughts, man.
no matter what, you should definitely get an Uber or a Lyft.
Yes,
Don't
for
drive.
sure, yeah.
Because it's going to be fantastic.
That's gonna be awesome.
Well, Rudy, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
by,
having me.
man.
This
We
was
really
fun, guys.
appreciate it.
And actually, and one last thing, Danny Dow, I need to find it, but he invited you to come.
To Orlando, right?
Yes, where is
Well,
it?
he's
Join us
gonna
at
be
the
Orlando
Lucky
friend of the show.
Pig
Here.
Friday night in Orlando. He wants you, so you're going to be there. The Lucky Pig Friday night in
Amazing
Orlando.
barbecue.
The
Seriously,
Lucky Pig,
the
where's that at?
Lucky Pig in
Orlando.
Orlando.
Wait a minute. The barbecue place is called the Lucky Pig. Wouldn't it
Yes.
be the Unlucky Pig?
Yeah,
'Cause
he's
the
a
one
little bit
getting-
unlucky, but it is fantastic.
Look,
barbecue.
yes, we've
I'll
had
look it
some.
up. I'll look it up.
Riddle's letting us know. Look and see the Barry White move. Look and see the big arm just kind of slipping over the step.
Flip that
see.
camera around there.
Flip that camera around and
Not
show
that one,
Riddle.
not that one. Let me
This is
see
when we
this.
know the show
take
is
it off
over. He
Rudy.
comes down. This is epic, man.
We're going to do a nice slow move.
Look
That
at
was a
him.
nice, real smooth move, Robin.
No,
Look at him.
because you're not.
Can we see him? He's on the steps. He's got the one paw
He's got the
dangling
one paw
over.
dangling
Yes.
down right now. People will be able to see in about 10 seconds. Look at this. This
Riddle.
is awesome. That's
my
when you
boy.
know it's over, man.
You know it's over.
my
That's
boy
what he
right
does
there.
at the end of the night. He's like, "Okay, folks,
That's
wrap it up.
Time to
Wrap it up."
We've done 221 tonight. We don't get paid overtime on the show.
No, we don't get paid at all, do we?
And,
And
poor
then
Rudy's got to
and you're
drive
also
all the way
seeing
to
Jack
Jersey.
in the back. Say hi, Jack.
Say, Jack.
All right, Tony, let's shut it down.
Let's shut this baby down. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday night. Tell you more about our big tequila Cinco de Mayo extravaganza. I want to thank Rudy. Switchboard.live, baby. The absolute greatest invention since the wheel or fire. That's what I'm talking about.
If you do anything on Facebook Live or Periscope, gotta have.
Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. And God bless America. It's still the most beautiful country on earth. Good night, everybody.
We now return control of your television set to you. Until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to the Tony Bruno Show.